also got a lovely victor. Lee Vincent went for 11 of 5 balls. Top scorer was Malik. He got 36 of 10, which includes 2 4s and 3 6s. Akmal, he got 13 of 5. Sachival Hassan got 26 from 10 balls. Marlon Samuels got 16 from 6. Chris Lewis, he was out for a duck, as was Asif in that magical over by Valentine. And finally, we have Danish Canaria, who was out LBW for 15.
Yep, few tweets and stuff. Linux Lear says, Jeff Perkins says that Gorilla Cricket barefaced audacity of it all. Linux Lear says, I don't think that the bear cheats. I think that Hansi sold the match. Knuckle Pandy says, what cockamamie Twitter reading device is Tony using that only shows him part of tweets? Look at that piece of scoring. It is, Knuckle, a very old iPad. Durban Oak says, David Steele did bowl in tests and has an outstanding...
We are back. Sorry, we had a power cut during the break, which was quite interesting. And now I can't get Zoom to start on one computer. So if Messi and Nessa's you're watching, I'm going to get it back. I think I need to restart this computer. So I'm going to do that now. First ball after lunch. What happened, Hendo?
It just drifted down the leg side for a dot ball.
Okie dokie. Second ball. Cummins is in. Oh, there's an appeal for court. Well, they're saying they caught. Root is ready to review because he doesn't think he hit it. The umpire
he's poised.
Well, they're all appealing. I don't think he got anything on it, did he?
Well, Root seems fairly convinced he didn't because he's the umpires inevitably. Why do they bother? Of course they're going to go upstairs. They never do anything else. Waste of time getting together.
Well, indeed.
So basically, what happened was, there's no sound coming through from you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No sound or video.
We can hear you.
The bear and I can see Messi.
I can see the bear's
there's nothing on
moving, and I can hear you, Nessas, but I can't hear the bear.
It seemed to come, by the way, straight off the thigh pad. That may be my last contribution, because if you've got your regular people there, I will bugger off.
Well, we haven't got anything yet.
The bear's muted apart from anything else. That's probably part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in which case I'll stay in situ.
You're muted, bear.
A little longer.
Can other people hear us?
We can hear you, by the way.
That has been. Let's have a look. I don't think
can
he
hear
edges
us now?
it. Off his leg.
Yep.
We had an electric cut, and so everything's fucked up in here. So keep quiet. We're on air. He didn't get anything on it, did he?
No, he didn't seem to get anything on it.
Straight into his
clear
pad.
Daylight.
And he's well outside the line of off stump, so it's not going to be out. So they can all fuck off.
I'm the summariser.
Bear's in IT support mode.
I am indeed.
Well, that's his standard answer to anyone who calls for any kind of help.
Yeah.
They can fuck off.
And who can blame him? Root, by the way, is about to face up to Cummins. Well,
you carry on when I start trying to get stuff
Root's
going.
facing up to Cummins. It's the third ball of the over after teeing, then 239 for 2. Cummins is lolloping in that familiar gate. He comes over the wicket, and Joe Root just defends it down into the covers as top ball. It's been very exciting in the studio over the last 10 minutes. It's much like one can imagine it might be on a nuclear submarine if they suddenly lost power and the fate of the Western nations was at stake.
Not sure submarines are the best choice of discussion topic at the moment.
Oh, God, yeah, true. Got to be so careful nowadays, haven't you? Pick your metaphors.
Is it Remus? Was it Remus?
That's
Who was the guy in the Hunt for Red October? Is he
Sean
Remus?
Connery.
Yes, I know, but it's Remus is the character he plays, isn't it?
Rebus,
not
Scottish.
Rebus. No, not Rebus. Remus.
Yeah, that's played down to long leg, where probably Josh Hazelwood does the fielding. The lead is now only just 77, so some speculation about if they get within cooey, at what point England might even consider declaring tonight, or whether they just press on the basis that you ignore the weather forecast, which, by the way, is biblical.
Well, they keep saying this, but I genuinely, I still think you have to play the play the conditions that are in front of you, not the ones you think might be coming.
You probably do. That's it's pretty negative bowling if this is what they're trying for. That's played down the leg side, missed by Crawley, who's forgivable because he's on 132 from 129. The innings everyone was promised by Zach Crawley, the match-defining innings, has arrived, which is good news. I think anything that happens from here, we can say that is a match-defining innings. England 240 for 2, almost an impermeable position, but they have to win the match, remember, so that adds the extra layer. Zach Crawley defends that one down to mid-on. That's the end of the over. England 242 at the end of the 42nd. Tony.
Well, yeah, Neymar Butlin says just ask the bear the standard set of questions. Oh, well, it is. Now you're here, but you weren't here.
Yes, we should switch back to...
I'll bugger off then. No, I'm supposed to be here.
Forthy's not supposed to be here.
Forthy can depart.
I'm buggering off.
Yes, thank you very much for your support, Forthy. Well done. That was a fantastic first over just after lunch.
Tea.
Sorry, we had a power cut. Suddenly everything went off with 7 minutes to get back on air. So it was all a bit crazy.
I'd have done it in 5.
You'd have gone, what's gone wrong? What's gone wrong? How do I do it?
Well, that's when I say I'd have done it in 5. That's how I would have done it. I would have phoned you.
I'd have been trying to standard questions. Is it plugged in? Did you turn it off and on again?
No. Literally, like, everything went off. So it was obviously a trip switched on the what's the name? On the electric switch tripped. I don't know who tripped the electric, but someone did. And consequently, it would have been quite funny because. Do you know how to turn an electric switch back on the fuse board?
Yes, I do. I've done that a few times.
There you go. As that's attempt to work down towards third man by route, but the big man Green is in at the gully. He dives across and stops it going anywhere. But you wouldn't know where the fuse board is here, would you?
It can only be in a few. It's not the biggest studio in the world.
No, but it's not in here. It's down by the front door.
Oh, yeah. No, I would have known that.
Oh, fuck.
It's well, I'll hold the thought for a second.
In comes Hazelwood, and Root just works around the corner to mid wicket. There's a single. They're starting off nice and slow after tea. Sorry, everybody who's come back to us via YouTube. Can you let us know if we're actually broadcasting on the website? Actually, I can check that out myself.
I can do that for you.
Because for some, because that might be hardwired as well, so it might have come back pretty quick. Maybe that doesn't trip out. I don't know. But yeah, so that was quite an exciting frisson for 7 minutes as we fortunately realised what the hell had gone on. Right, Hazelwood.
It's all working okay, Bear. I've checked it.
Oh, good, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Defended by Crawley, back to the bowler, and there's no run. I presume to take a couple of overs just to get in and then bash on.
Yeah, I mean, go back to that same challenge, really. Do you play the weather forecast that might happen? I mean, surely you want to get to parity, then you want to go mad, and if you can get yourself 150 ahead, fantastic. You know, declaring, if it's going to rain, it's going to rain. Therefore, declaring early hasn't helped you anyway.
No, you might as well get 150 ahead as quick as possible, so that's defended up towards gully, and there's no run. But it's possible to get 100 ahead tonight, and maybe even that's you've got to ride your luck here. I mean, you get your 100. You've basically got to bowl them out for fuck all in the second innings anyway, and hope that you either chase nothing or something less than 80 or something, and you might just about get enough time in the game to get it out. Yeah, as we said, the weather might change drastically, and it might actually blow over, and Saturday they get at least half a day's play or something, which would be very different. Hazelwood is in full and driven at by Crawley, and he didn't snatch it, did he? Otherwise he might have attempted to run him out, Hazelwood, but must have gone back over past him towards mid-off, and they don't get a run.
It would certainly be a departure from history if England were to pull this off. Only 16 out of 84 tests at Old Trafford have been won by a chasing team, and no team has ever won after inserting the opposition. So you can break those two hoodoos, you're doing pretty well.
Oh no, that's different to the team bowling first, isn't it? I suppose. Hazelwood into the pad, maybe a little bit of inside edge, don't know. It's gone out square on the leg side, it's going to be given as a leg bye.
A lot of draws, don't forget, out of those 84, but if you count them up, 16 have been won by the team who was chasing, regardless of whether they chose to or not. But no team has ever inserted the opposition and ended up winning by doing it.
Well, as I always say, Tone, these records are always there to be broken.
They are
and
there
they do
to be
have to be
broken.
broken at some point.
They absolutely are. Probably we should go to Nestler's.
Yeah.
Leia says his name is Marco Alexandrovich Ramus, and yes, I typed that from memory. That's how often I have read Hunt for Red October.
But he still sounded a lot like he was Scottish in the version of it I saw. Tom Clancy, isn't it?
Just eaten the fly spray infected pasta. I'm still alive, just in case I've left the windows open, so hopefully the corpse stench should alert people early.
Well, it doesn't often do that. People have been found after 4 years mummified on their sofas.
Yeah, but he's left the window open, you see.
Wow.
Well, that would do it.
In the stories I've read of people who've been found after years, that's just angling into the leg stump. Clipped nicely by Crawley. It's not going to be saved by... Who was that down there?
It's Hazelwood. He dived over it.
Dived over it.
Scottish goalkeeping at its best.
Absolutely. And so we get one of these. One of these.
Well, don't tell me the jingle can't. Oh, it does.
On the floor. And one more four than the 4 to 4. That's what fours are for. To get funky on the dance floor.
What were we just talking about?
We were talking...
Dead corpse.
Oh yeah,
Dead
no, the
corpses.
stories I've read, you know, people go, oh, there was a real big stench in that flat for a while, and they still don't get picked up, and then they find them mummified like a year later. That's just knocked out on the left offside by Crawley, and they'll get through for a single.
I'm sure that Jay is not going to die from eating the pasta.
Well, I don't know. Insecticide's not... Sorry, Jay. But insecticide's not very good for you, I wouldn't say.
Weren't we talking about insecticide before tea as well?
Yes. Yeah, Jay's...
Oh, no, because someone called it incesticide, didn't
Yes,
they?
that was Jay. Yeah.
Which is the name of a Nirvana album.
Yes.
As pointed out by Neil Colshaw.
Exactly. I've followed that discussion.
That was the first album, wasn't it?
No.
No?
Bleach.
Bleach was the first album, that's right. They clipped in the leg side and there's no
Which
they only did 3 though, didn't they?
Which is going on from our conversation about fly splay. Bleach.
Yeah.
Something else you don't want to eat.
That's something else you don't want to eat.
Or drink, rather.
That'll kill you.
It all ties in, you see.
But Nirvana only did 3 albums, didn't they? They did Bleach, and then they did
Bleach,
Nevermind, and then they did In Utero, and then he died.
Yeah.
So
and a live album.
Was that?
But Incesticide was a compilation.
Ah, right, okay. Oh, post death. Cummins in. Oh, flashed at by Crawley. Didn't really get up. Bounced before it got to Carey anyway, and there's no run.
On the Bleach was a song by Chris Rea.
I'm not sure if it was post-death, actually, Incesticide. It was a collection of sort of B-sides and sessions, I think, BBC sessions. It's very good. It might be post-death, I don't know. maybe Fourthy does.
I'm not sure if Fourthy's a rock man. A rock man.
Well, you know. Grunge.
Grunge. It's good stuff, I loved grunge.
I liked grunge.
Just defended into the offside as another easy single. Smashing Pumpkins, I really liked Smashing Pumpkins.
I liked all that stuff. Soundgarden I really liked. Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, they weren't people I was really into. But although they keep coming up now. If I play I like Siamese Dream was one of my all-time favourite albums by the Pumpkins.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all just rock music. It's just given a name by the music business to sell more copies, really.
It was, but what I liked about I kind of like the melodies and the harmonies that went with the just extortion, massive distortion by. That's driven back to Cummins. I think it was a bump ball. He went down and fielded it. Fluffed it anyway, and there's no run, and that ends the 44th over. England are 249 for 2.
Nestlers, are you able to read messages, as in, like direct messages on Twitter?
No.
All right. Well, there is one for you specifically from Nightco, who is in Japan, British bloke in Japan. Says Nestle has a great voice for radio, maybe for the shipping forecast. So there you go. Cromarty Firth, 27. Back to you.
Dogger bite.
There it is. A dogger bite, yes.
This is where the Aussies really miss Nathan Lyon, says Derek Willis.
What's that weird, like, croaking noise in the background?
That's me
dying.
Flipping through.
Oh, is that you? Okay.
I've turned the
Has he got
volume
it?
down now on my device.
Has he got his notes?
Sounds like a cricket or a frog.
Gorilla cricket has a long and noble history of being a Faraday cage, says Jay Grover.
Well, that was definitely Ireland. Who we got? Hazelwood coming in. I haven't managed to play any jingles after tea because obviously the power cut and trying to get everything working again. That's defended out in the leg side and there's no run.
Old fart at play wonders, would the insecticide kill the flies and stop the decomposing?
Well, there's not a lot to decompose, is there, with a fly?
Yeah, Leia points out insecticide was released in 92. Cobain sucked the shotty in 94.
Yes. I was driving over Battersea Bridge when I heard that.
Oh, yeah, I was shocked.
Full driven by Crawley. Mid on is a little deep and very straight, and he can't beat him, and there's no run.
Three of my favourite people went in very quick succession around then. It was my dad, Bill Hicks, and Kurt Cobain.
Wow.
I was like, stop dying.
He was the 27 club, wasn't he, Kurt?
Kurt was, yeah.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin,
Yeah.
Brian Jones.
Right. Hazelwood.
Hazelwood.
No, he's in, and he gets defended by Crawley up to mid-off, and there's no run. He's on 138 of 141 deliveries. Root is 47 off 43. England 249 for 2 off just 44.3 overs. And Crawley's got 61 and 7, 48 and 3, 33 and 44, and 138. He's not had
sure.
a bad Ashes.
What sort of odds would you have got for Moeen Ali at 3 to get past 50? Pretty
Quite long, I'd have thought.
long, I'd have thought.
Well,
yeah.
actually, the bookies probably wouldn't have been that long. It'd probably been about 3 to 1. That's defended back to the bowler, and there's no run.
I mean, he's not quite Jonathan Trott, Ken Barrington, or Wally Hammond, but
No.
it wasn't at all a bad effort under the circumstances, and more than did the job that completely exceeded his own expectations, or at least the ones he talked about.
Exactly. I'm going to try and type a message here.
Okay.
Carry
It's
on
not
talking.
great radio. Do you want to tell us who you're typing?
I'm typing a message to people who come back on YouTube and saying,
Oh,
if you're
right.
arriving back, I apologise, we had a power cut during
Got it.
tea. That's down the leg side. Tries to play it around the corner, does Crawley, doesn't get it, and there's no run. Talk.
Also, Amy, wine problem, as M points out on YouTube. She was 27 club, wasn't she?
Oh, yes. Amy
I lent her
Winehouse,
my
yes, she was.
lighter in Texas once, just before she went out to sing.
Oh, wow, did you? There's
I
there's
was,
a
at
piece
South
of...
by, I was at South by Southwest. She wasn't very big then. It was a showcase for her record label.
As this one's defended by Crawley into the offside. Off
And she
the
was-
bowling of Hazelwood. 68 is what England trail by.
I was standing at the side of the stage, and she just turned around and went, "Hello, mate. Have you got a light?" And I went, "Yeah, there you go." She goes, "I'm shitting myself."
Oh.
Yeah, she wasn't very. She was like, it was before Black in Black and all that. Although she'd written those songs, she was brilliant. She was amazing.
Yes.
And I did about 4 songs. It's one of these. She sings for music biz people.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's a very small little kind of outdoor stage, and yeah, she was amazing. But anyway, Jay says the amount of wankers who congregate in my courtyard, they'd notice, wrap me in my shower curtain. I did not call it incesticide. Sean cannot read. Or did I? Shit, the bug spray's kicked in. No, I got it wrong, Jay. I was thinking of Nirvana at the time.
Root is going to... facing up to Cummins. It keeps a little low. There's a big pill for OBW. I think it was outside the line. It did scoot along the ground very low.
I think they're so desperate they're going to go for it. I think that they absolutely need a breakthrough. No, he's changed his mind.
It's a no
It's a
ball.
no ball. He didn't change his mind. Nitin Menin changed it for him.
He should have let him go for it first. Bummer.
Over the line!
I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line.
I'd love to see what the Australian press make of this one.
Well, this could be the 5th then, because we had our 4th today of a wicket with a no ball.
Oh, it was an inside edge as well. Anyway.
Was it?
Yeah, there
you
was
saw
an
an
inside
edge
edge.
there?
Yeah, I did see an inside edge.
Big one.
Well, quite a big one, exactly. Watch this, Tone. Inside
Oh,
edge.
whopping great, enormous inside edge, absolutely.
Should have let them review. No, it wasn't no ball. Free hit! I want a free hit.
He needs the extension.
Yeah, he needs that flappy foot, the reverse clown shoe. Oh.
It's Steve Smith. Steve Smith looked like a grumpy teenager, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
That's in... Oh, that was quite close. They didn't bother appealing for that unless he got an inside edge on that too, but I don't think he did. Looked like it came off the pad. Certainly came off the pad.
Jay
no,
says,
it's given
thank
us a
God
run,
that was Tony. I thought it was my death rattle.
Yeah, I was wondering where that was. I thought it was something to come on in the tech that I didn't know what it was going to do, and it was going to haunt me for the rest of the day and probably into tomorrow.
And he got weirdly hypnotised by the drum track on Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins, did Jay?
It's the reverse scoop. It's gone over the slips. This time he hasn't got 6, but he's got 4.
He has.
Lovely. Root's on, and that's his 50. Well done, Rooty. Love Joe Root. Love it when he gets a 50.
Giuliani had his reasons for selecting his landscape seasons. There were 4 drawn-out grinds and flashing cameos.
That's quite hard.
Quite accumulation
That was a bad mix.
that just grows and grows. Lucky or lucky, inducing reverie. These are a few types of half-century.
Pat into Rooty, who defends, and there's no run. I'm going to say this to you, Tony. Can you swap me out in that third session? I don't think I can do 5 in a row. I think I'll go a little bit batty.
What do you mean will go? But I'll see what I can do. Hold on.
I'll do it.
There you go.
I'll do it.
On.
Lovely.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Which
see?
session do you mean?
The one where Gary,
5 o'clock.
Bear, Hendo.
Well, yeah, Nestlers. There you go. Nestlers.
I'll
just
do it.
sorted.
How many times? do I
I've
have
just
to say
said
it?
yes. Absolutely. Agreed. You're on.
I was with you, don't you worry. It was just Tone was a little bit behind. That's attempted a little tickle down the leg side by Rooty. He doesn't get it. It's through the keeper and there's no run.
I'll do it. Oddly, my Aunt Hazelwood didn't die at 27, says Davewood.
No.
That's quite...
Oh,
good.
Hazelwood. Got it. Yes.
Aunt Hazelwood.
Joe Root gets a 50. That's good. He got a ton in the first test. Is this only his second? I'd love to know what his scores are in the series.
I will tell you that
He
in
got
2 seconds.
Didn't he get a 50 at Edgerton or something? I'm sure he did. It's quite windy up there. Cummins in, turn around a corner by Rooty. Won't get any more than a single down a long leg. He's going to move on to 258.
Joe Root in this series, I can tell you, got 118 and 46 at Edgbaston. He got 10 and 18 at Lords, and 19 and 21.
Oh. So it's only his second 50 of the
Headingley.
series?
So yes, it's only his second 50 of the series.
Okay. Bummer.
He kept getting caught, didn't he? Caught behind.
Yes, exactly. Crawley plays that with nice timing. Behind square, all the way down to third man. Ooh, was that a 4? Trevor's head sort of pulled it back in whilst falling over the ropes. I think that could be a 4. We'll have a look, no doubt. Waste another 3 or 4 minutes looking at that.
I can also tell you, Joe Root, if you look at bogeymen, i.e. who gets him out most, Pat Cummings has had him 11 times, Nathan Lyon 8, Mitchell Starc 8, Josh Hazelwood 8, and Trent Bolt 7.
Okay, so a lot of Australians get him out.
Yeah, that's down to the frequency and the fact we tend to play 5 test series against
Yeah,
Australia
true.
and not against other people, so I wouldn't read necessarily too much into that.
It's not 17.
It's not 17, no. We know that this Starc has had Bairstow 11 times, I think.
Well, see, Bairstow.
But actually, that's not surprising, because if you think about that very quick inducking in-swinger
well,
that Starc has.
The last couple of times, then he's had him chasing wild ones, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Hazelwood is into Crawley. He defends that in the offside and there's no run. England only trail by 57 now. We've got until 6:30. We've got 2 hours left tonight. England want to lead of 120, 130, don't they? And declare, surely.
Yeah, I mean, if England could have written a script for today at this stage, you know, we had the conversation earlier about biting your arm off or your hand or whatever it would be, But to have got Australia within 40 minutes and for only the addition of, what was it, 17?
Yeah.
And to be only 2 down for 260, 57 behind after tea, they'd be thrilled.
Just dropped into the offside by Crawley, and there's no run, and it just makes that point about how Australia, none of their top batsmen just went on after getting decent starts as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of 40s and 50s.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the high score was 51. Root's got 53, and Crawley's got 143, and Mo got 52, 54, something like that.
Well, and the other thing to think about, of course, is the run rate. The run rate they're going along at is getting on for Suez. It's well over 5.5, 5.63 at the moment. Yeah, and for the at least the first hour and a half, 2 hours, it was round about 2.93.
Yeah,
so they really pumped it up.
Well, exactly. The last session was 7.3, wasn't it, or something? Cut by Root. Nice. This one is going to beat the fielder out there. He's too square, and Root plays that lovely shot down towards third man, and he gets 4 runs. And Hazel's going at nearly 5 and over. I mean, I guess all of them are going at nearly 5 and over because England are going 5.5, nearly 6.
And there used to be a jingle for Josh Hazelwood based on Norwegian wood.
Yes.
We've changed it though, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
I always used to kind of like that one.
Oh, I can find it for you.
Wow.
Cut at by Root. Seems to keep a little bit low, which may favour England as we move on in this game. If England get a lead, Josh Hazelwood. It could be this one.
He once hit keys wet as stumps. He must be good. Josh Hazelwood.
That's because it's talking about Keyswetter. That was made when Keyswetter was playing in the T20s, and that was how long ago? That was probably one of the first jingles that was done in 2009. It's the reverse. He's going to be out, surely. No, he didn't get anything on it. I thought it seemed to change direction. I thought that maybe he gloved it. Maybe it hit his arm. It was taken by Carey. It's an attempted reverse ramp by Rooty again. He's all smiles now. He's got above his 50. No, maybe he just didn't get anything on it. Maybe it was an optical illusion. It went over the top of the stumps. Knows what he's doing though, Rooty. 57 off 51. Facing up, Hazelwood in. Full driven. Ooh, up to mid-on. Thinks about a single, but it's not there. Sends back Crawley. It's all good and all in good time. And that's the end of the over. 265 for 2 over to Unislas.
Crawley gets a ton. System has a stroke. Logical, says Andy Murphy. Neymar sent us a picture of the Nirvana album cover for a pet resort in Canada with a dog jumping in the swimming pool chasing a bone, which is very good. Mr. Currell from Margs says, Bear, I thought having an upper hand would make you less of a miserable prick. That's one thing, the Bear is never a miserable prick.
I'm not miserable.
He's never miserable.
I don't know why you think I'm miserable.
Just angry and short-tempered.
He shouts and swears a lot, but he's not miserable.
Generally, I'm not a miserable man. I can be grumpy, that's true. I can be grumpy, but not miserable.
No. Not going to sit here and deny it.
PJ Mead says, I'm still giggling at the reverse scoop to take Root to his 50.
Well, yeah, it was there. Cummins is in, and Crawley has not really got going as fluent as he was before tea, but that's okay because Root is going along. Clips that up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Just had sorry, go on after you.
I'm going to say, Jay Grover says, I know it's the cliche, but I didn't notice Root was about to get a 50. Fair dues, phenothirin can do that to a man. PHENOTHIRN. He's testing me today, he is. Jay, I don't know what that is.
Well, maybe that's insecticide.
Maybe, yeah.
Cummins, he's gone for 75 in 12 overs, is coming up to bowl to Crawley, who just turns that into leg side, down towards long leg. It'll be a single.
Just had a message from my eldest, who said, bat them out of the game or declare early and hope to chase a small target before rain. Where do we stand on that debate?
Well, I think you've got to, look, if you believe there's rain on Saturday, I think England have got to aim to get 450 tonight, and then they can think about it. If there's the thing is, everyone's saying tomorrow morning will be the first session will be off, so they won't get on until after lunch. That being the case, if you get 450 tonight, you'd be 133 ahead, right?
Yeah, I go along with that.
And then I'd say, okay, if the first session is off tomorrow, and I would then declare, if the first session isn't on, I'll go out and try and get another 60 or 70 in 10 overs. Then get them in, and I'd take that chance, and then try and bowl them out in a day for under 200.
I'll tell you after this ball what my succinct reply was.
Cummins is in, and it's defended to the offside by Roots, but square enough for the man at cover. They get a single.
My sort of reply was, should be to get a lead of 150 as soon as possible, and then see what the weather's doing.
There you go.
So we're saying the same thing, I
pretty
think,
much
aren't we?
the same thing, yeah.
Neither of us, of course, are Ben Stokes.
No.
Although we could start a fight in a nightclub, though, I should imagine, if push came to shove.
Well, yeah.
You two in a nightclub?
Hey, Bear, used to spend most of his youth there.
Not now.
Not
oh,
now,
well,
it's
possibly
true.
not now, no.
Oh, now that is a gorgeous drive by Crawley. Full by Cummins, and 2 full. And Crawley just drives it straight back past him with intent. And it's
How
gone all
was
the way
the ball?
to... the ball's only
About
47.4 over the
Well, I only asked because we got a close-up of it as it nestled against the boundary sponge there.
Well, it's been hit quite hard, quite a lot. And,
it just didn't look in the best of order,
well,
did
no,
it?
I mean, this is it. I mean, if you play like this, England got a new ball, didn't they, at Australia?
Imagine if that was
night.
a Kookaburra, would have been knocked out like a piece of old leather.
Well,
like
exactly.
an old chamois, rather.
Full again, driven aerial a little, but it's inside the man at mid-off. Has he got enough on this one? I think he's...
Oh, yeah, will it?
Yes, it's made it to the boundary at long off. It's 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is
on the
literally
jingle
amazing
front.
stuff.
And we have one of these too. We have a jingle for this one.
You shall not shift me. You shall not shift me. I have made it to 150, and you shall not shift me.
Wow. Sorry? You are BBB next.
You are. The Bear's staying where he is, to summarise, and I'm
Indeed.
going for a lay down and a rub down of the sporting life.
Indeed. That's clipped around the corner by Crawley. He gets a single off the last ball of the
Before
over.
you-
Retain the
before
strike. England are 276 for 2. The trailways are 41 runs after half an hour after tea. We've got 2 hours to go today. Can we get a lead of 150? I really hope so. Because if one of these goes down, you got Brook's not going to hold back, and then it's Stokesy, and then you've got Bairstow going ballistic. It could be a really entertaining next 2 hours. Fortunately, we have managed to solve the problem of tripped switches in the fuse box, and we are back live. That was a bit frantic, wasn't it? Suddenly everything turned off.
Before you completely change over, Bear, Jersey Jingler has sent you a no ball jingle to the tune of No Limits because he's fed up with hearing the Big Lebowski clip.
I understand that. It's getting a bit boring, that one, isn't it? Well, this has just been thoroughly entertaining if you're an England fan. Probably not so much if you're an Australian fan. But as we were saying in the green room, as England fans, we've endured this sort of thing so often. We rarely get these moments where batting seems so relaxed, relatively speaking. And brilliant from Crawley. I mean, he's played some absolutely scintillating shots at times. He's had a little bit of luck, but he's been the Crawley that we've all been hoping for. Hazelwood in to the Kent batsman, and he drives again. It's another beautiful shot, half stopped by Hazelwood and then tidied up by Khawaja at mid-off, so just the one. 277 for 2. Crawley 154 at a runner ball, and Root 58 off 53. Did they say anything about Joe Root's fastest 50s in Test cricket? This one was off 45 balls, I think. Maybe he's got one that's slightly quicker than that. So Ben Duckett will be looking at that scorecard and thinking, bugger. Hazelwood in, bowls to Root. Root jabs out into the offside. 2 extra. There is no run. Ben Duckett went for a single. But since then we've had Moeen Ali getting 54, Crawley on 154 and Root on 58. And would you believe it, Brendan McCullum has the temerity to yawn.
That's terrible, isn't it?
What? Brendan yawning?
Yeah.
Really is. It really is. What kind of example does that set to the young youth of this country? Hazelwood in, again, bowls to Root straight and full, and he defends up to mid-on. And there is no run.
Well, I can't find it. It's not come through, Richard Peel. I haven't had an email in our inbox since July the 14th.
Is that the Jingles inbox? Maybe you sent it to the normal Gmail.
Oh, I don't look in that for jingles.
No, but you might find it's there, funnily enough.
That's why we have a jingles email.
Yeah, but not everyone knows it, probably.
Yeah, well, Richard Peel does, because he sends jingles there.
Hazelwood in again. That one just tails in a little bit to Root onto his leg stump, and he defends up to mid-wicket.
Yes, a silver lining for Australia is starting to reverse a little bit. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to go bowling short again. Maybe they just given up at this point.
They do seem to be, don't they? I mean, the Mitchell Starc is getting ready for another little burst. So we've got a Smith at first slip. We've got a gully now. No, we've just got one slip. A short extra, shortish mid wicket, who you could argue was catching, but probably walking in a little bit as well. For Root, we're getting the man at fly slip, or very fine third man, if you prefer. There's also a wider third man, and Hazelwood is in. It's full, and Root drives, snatched by Hazelwood in his follow through, and he threatens to throw at the stumps.
But that's the benefit of Root just playing a couple of scoops. It's another no ball. He's now taken two fielders out of normal positions.
Yes,
and given him so many opportunities to just clip 1 and 2.
Well, I've got a no ball jingle here that's 46 seconds long.
I'll give it a go.
It won't play though.
Oh, right.
But this one will.
It's quite nice. Defended on the front foot by Root up to mid-on. And there is no run. The partnership now worth 148 from 135 balls. So I imagine the majority of people at Old Trafford are thoroughly enjoying this afternoon. The people dressed in green or yellow, generally not so much.
It is hard to remember a moment in time where England was so on top of Australia as this for many years.
Yeah, and maybe at Brisbane, but I mean...
That's 2010.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. It's 13 years ago. This is clipped to Warner at mid-wicket, and that is the end of the over. 278 for 2 tweets.
Not much on Twitter. Again, I think people are just enjoying the spectacle. Neymar Butlins, I feel like I hit 50 in... he's talking about age, not runs. You feel like I hit 50 in record time. I'm now 55. There's so much more that I want to do with my life. Well, do it.
Just a point made by Don Diego is that we can't see Andy. The Zoom is still on. Well, that's because the Bear is working on jingles at the moment. He'll be with you any moment now.
Jay says he would pay large amounts of money to see Tony start a fight. Another reason why we should set up green room cam.
Oh no, you wouldn't want to see that. You really wouldn't, believe me.
I may have done this one, but Jay also says always trust the Bear to get his drug references.
Yes,
I do, generally speaking.
No bull Sodom, this one says.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, well, I presume so.
Well, Mitchell Starc's back into the attack. We'll jingle him up shortly. 11 overs, 2 for 50. He's the only wicket taker for Australia. Got rid of Duckett and Moeen Ali. Good ball to get rid of Duckett. Maybe you might argue he shouldn't have been playing at it. Pull.
Well, that's Duckett gonna duck it.
Well, exactly. Pull to mid-wicket by Moeen Ali. Really good catch by Khawaja.
You felt that for once... I felt going into this game, England have a more varied attack than Australia. Even Australia do have the left armour in Starc. It's all tall guys banging it in. Obviously, they got no spinner. Head's just been battered when he's come on because he's not really up to it. I mean, he's not even as good as Root. And it looked very samey from Australia.
And maybe the batting has just made it look that way. Starc in, bowls to Crawley. He waits for this and just jabs it away through gully. He's off for 1. And who's that tearing after it? It's Labuschagne, and they run back with 2. It's hit the stumps. That might be worth looking at.
No, he's in. He's in.
I thought that was
I'm
not saying that it was.
Umpires looking at everything these days.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that was closer than some. Put it that way. Anyway, looks like he's going to be okay. But Labuschagne, he never gives up. He chases like a demon after anything. He slid and turned in one movement.
Quick turn and throw.
Brilliant fielding. He's comfortably home, and it was a direct hit. Direct hits always worth looking at.
Scare
aren't they?
people.
Yeah. It's amazing how far a batsman can travel in the time that it takes for the ball to bounce into the wicketkeeper's hands and then be propelled onto the stumps. It's not out. 280 for 2, England. Trail by 37. I mean, what kind of a cheer there's going to be if England get parity and beyond, as they should. Straighter ball from Starc, which is defended on the front foot by Crawley.
Pushing the boat out there. You think from this position England will post 38 runs for the last 8 wickets with these two batsmen set?
I'm not
nailing your colours to the mast on that one.
Absolutely. I've been stung too many times. 280 for 2 though. It's been magnificent to watch this afternoon. If you're an England supporter, and I actually probably quite entertaining if you're an Australian supporter.
Oh, would we be enjoying this?
No,
but boot on the other foot.
No, we wouldn't be enjoying it, but we'd be kind of.
Well, for a start, Australia wouldn't do this. They wouldn't go at 5.5. It's not a good
driven.
shot. Yeah,
great shot. Beats Khawaja diving away at mid-off, and away it goes to the boundary for another of these. And I get the impression that every time the number of balls he's faced gets level with his score,
he hits another 4.
He hits another 4 to get ahead of it again.
Well, Australia should look at yesterday, and not just people getting themselves out when they were set. The fact that they ended up scoring at less than 4 and over.
Yeah, I mean they were
around 3.5. I mean, it's just leaving runs. England is showing it's just leaving runs on the table.
Starc in again and tucked away.
So easy. There's so much space.
Well, that's because Australia are scared, though.
Yeah, they're big chickens.
They're coming back for 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I might not be saying that.
Well, the national colour is yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, fighting talk from Wardy here. 286 for 2. Crawley 162. Root 58. And Root's just slipped beneath a runner ball. 58 from 59. Some of Crawley's driving has been unbelievable.
He's got big levers, hasn't he?
He has.
Yes, but, you know, it looks like a good. You might argue the batsmen are making it look like a good track. I thought it looked like a good track yesterday.
I thought it looked like a good track, but I think England bowled quite well.
They did bowl well. They nipped it around a little bit. They hit the seam.
Straight drive. That's glorious. That is stunning from Crawley. Partnership goes up to 160. England to 290 for 2, and Crawley to 164. You kind of feel that Crawley's in that rare space that sportsmen get into, or sportswomen, in the zone.
In the zone. You wonder how much.
Once every 2 years.
Yeah, once every 2. No, once every 3 years, isn't it? Because it's 2020 when he got that.
Yeah, true.
267. Yeah.
You wonder if rain wasn't around and England could just bat for 2 days. I mean, how many they would score.
Yeah, well, possibly. Starc in again, and this time defended. But even his defensive shots are slightly aggressive and well timed. That goes to mid wicket, and there is no run. 50 overs bowled. England galloping along at almost 6 and over, 290 for 2.
Oh, Mr. Currell from Margs says, always entertaining listening to you guys. Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know, he's just taken 12 off and over. It's not hard. It's easier to be entertaining than in the 2 sessions that everybody will forget from this series when I was on the Sunday, I think in the second test.
Well, the bounce-a-thon.
The bounce-a-thon. Yeah, that was
the Saturday, wasn't it? I think
it might have been the Saturday.
Yeah.
That was dreadful. But, I mean, just the difference of being 290 for 2 instead of 190 for 2. 190, going at a regular test cricket sort of pace, 190 for 2. OK, Australia would be up against it, but they'd still be thinking, couple of wickets here, and we're back in. Starc pulling up lame.
Well, pulling up with feeling his hamstring at the end of that over.
This is another point that people have made, that scoring all your runs in 85 overs is all very well.
New bowler.
Is all very well, but it doesn't put the hours in the legs of the opposition bowlers as you want to do in a 5-match series. But
yeah, I think. It was when he.
It injured himself saving 1 run, which I always think is really stupid.
Oh, no, that was earlier, wasn't it?
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
A while ago, yeah.
We thought that was his knee more than anything. Oh, God. I like this jingle, but it goes on far too long.
It's all right, I'll just cut it off. What do we agree that when you get to where?
What, Reg Marsh.
Reginald.
He's not Christian, he's not Dean, he's not Eric, he's not Edward, he's not John, he's not James, he's not Laura, he's not Paul, he's not Reginald.
There it is. Cut it out. No slip, but there is a gully. There's also a fly slip or a very fine third man, whatever you want to call it. and Marsh was about to come in, and Root pulled away. I think because Patrick Cummins hadn't completed
the field
his
around,
field changes. I imagine he's not quite sure what to do. He's just hoping that one of these will get themselves out, I think.
I think so, and that's worked in the past in this series, but...
yes. Yeah.
I think with England so close now.
Marsh bowls, and it's a straight drive from Root this time. He's going to have to hurry if they're going through for a single. No, he's going to have to hurry back. He was sent back by Crawley and had to hair back to the striker's end where the throw came in, and he got there.
I'm not sure it's really Crawley's job to send him back. I mean, that's very blatantly the striker's call, if you do want to rely on that convention.
Maybe, yeah.
Unless Root decided halfway down that it wasn't. Well, no, Crawley had sort of gone back, hadn't he? So I think Root realised.
Carey didn't collect the ball, did he? Anyway.
You can't really see from there what a direct hit would have done.
Yeah, direct hit might have been interesting.
No, he didn't have the ball when he.
I think he had it when it's a moot point anyway, but. He's certainly in the dust going after that one.
Martian again, Root defends on the front foot, head over the top of the ball, and away it goes, running it up to mid-off. England 27 adrift now.
And I guess I can figure that Margs must be in Australia, because Mr. Currell from Margs says, "We are playing scared, dead right, embarrassing."
Embarrassing?
It's un-Australian, which is the worst thing you can say.
Australian. Yes and no. I think you've just got to say, well played, England. Onto the front foot goes Root, and he just dabs this into the offside and hurries through for a single, quite comfortably on this occasion.
No, but for one thing, although they overdo it at times, Stokes is always trying different things in the field to take a wicket.
Yeah, true.
You can reach a happy medium on that. I do think England overdo it sometimes, changing the plans every 2 overs. But honestly, it's a bit better than this, which is just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite critical of Stokes yesterday. I felt that he took bowlers off after they'd got wickets, when they should have been at their sort of most confident, really. And you could argue maybe Australia got more than they might have done had he kept faith with Broad initially and then with Wokes. But
it's always a captain's job to take the bowler off an over before he gets hit, rather than over after. You never get credit for it.
I don't think it's his job to take the bowler off the over after he's taken a wicket, unless he's bowled a long spell, which neither had. This is defended by Crawley on the front foot, back to Marsh. There's a man come in at the on Hayden position. I think it's David Warner.
Well, at least they're trying something. Well, maybe the matchup is that they want a different bowler at the new batsman.
Can I just say we've had another super chat.
Excellent.
GC Naked Pornbutt says, doing a system stress test. Yeah, it works fine. Thank you once again, GC Naked Pornbutt, for $4.99.
Oh, now Crawley's come down the wicket. He's whacked that up in the air. Has he got any? Well, he's got quite a bit on it. There's no one back there, and it's plugged just a foot short of the boundary, I think, there.
Foot short of the flag.
Yes, indeed. 4 runs, though.
Left a big divot as well, didn't it?
Crawley's getting a bit excited now. He's gone to 170. 295 for 2.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Well, if you can't get excited on 170, not out in the Ashes, I mean, I'll forgive him that, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he
Mitch
as cleanly as he wanted to.
A big catch shout, but there's no one anywhere near it.
I thought it had gone up and not quite as long, but it still went fairly long. I don't think he meant to get it under it quite as much.
No, he meant to slap it into the stands, I think.
Yeah, but 35 fours now, 3 sixes. England 295-2. They trailed by 22. They bowled Australia out for 317 in the first 40 minutes this morning. Got rid of Pat Cummins' first ball of the day. Jimmy Anderson getting his name in the wickets column.
Thank God for that.
Thank God for that. Marsh again to complete the over. Carey has come up to the stumps, but Crawley has worked it past the on Hayden, taken the run to Cummins, who's then misfielded, which kind of shows you the disarray that Australia are in the field at the moment. That's the end of the over. 296 for 2.
Well, he's been a bit untidy in the field, Cummins. He dropped a half chance. I do sympathise. It's difficult to field when you're captain and it's sort of balls flying everywhere. Anna Forsyth says, hello all. Looks like another iconic knock that I've been mainly asleep for. Jay says he was in the zone once, then he realised William Burrows was shite. Jersey Jingler says, apologies, he made it and didn't send it. He'll send it later. So not actually your fault that time, Bear.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Usually is, of course, the bear. We
I was
always
getting a
blame
bit worried
the bear
that
for most
I was a
things.
bit worried that something wasn't working.
Well, we seem to be having a sort of impromptu drinks break. I don't think it's actually a drinks break, but someone's run on with
drinks.
Drinks, funnily enough. For the
Yep, I'll do
batsman.
a few more then. Ombre Duevo, the new man, says, sadly, I think we will never forget the bounce-a-thon. Well, those of us who had to commentate it certainly won't. It was such a stark contrast to the rest of the series, but I hope we do.
That said, it played a role in this series. I mean, I kind of like the idea that there are different periods you go through.
I really hope that running on wasn't some sort of signal from Stokesy that we're going to declare when we're level or something.
Oh God, I really
think
hope
you've got
not.
to grind them into
Oh,
the
please
dust
don't
here.
do that, Stokesy. Don't do it.
That
He's
would
going to do
really-
it, isn't he? I know he's going to do it. Starc coming in to bowl to Crawley, and Crawley defends into the offside, but will get a single easily enough. Steve Smith is having to do a bit of running.
But that's not how you win this game.
No,
You win this
well-
game by...
Well, I agree, but I think they will do the old 4 overs at the end of the day. I think they'll do that.
I think it depends. I think they need to get a lead of 150 and then pray tomorrow.
Scoreboard pressure,
Just
surely.
keep batting.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep batting.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Scoreboard pressure.
You got 8 wickets to keep batting at like 7 and over. So
Well,
do that.
This is kind of what this is where they lost it at Lords, in my opinion. Not exactly at this point, but if they do that,
Well, like
that
Lords,
will be...
Lords, they only had 2 wickets left. So
No,
even
no,
even
no.
though it was wrong.
No, I'm talking about when
Oh,
they
you're
were
talking about
180 odd for 1.
Well, yeah, that was that. Yeah.
Starc in again to Root, and he jabs this square. There's Smith again in a sort of backward point gully run-saving position.
Jay has been watching me play with binoculars. He can say, I just see Andy standing stock still in the field saying, well, I'm not diving, while multiple shots go for 4. Probably rubs his shoulder guiltily like an obvious poker tell. Someone sent him film. I want to know who that is.
Sorry, excuse my bird.
As I rub my shoulder on camera. Mr. Coral says, just to clarify, any time England are beating us is embarrassing. Well, there's no need to be churlish.
We're not embarrassed.
Right, I hope I'm going to get this man's name wrong, but we've had another super chat. Thank you very much.
Starc in Root onto the front foot and steers that through the offside. Takes the single.
Jahan, maybe Yehan. Jahan, I'm going to say. Aryaratnam.
Ratnam. Yeah, I would say so.
Ratnam,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope I got your name right. Yeah, he says, why are Australia never short of 95 for 2 or 50 overs? Because they don't play basballs.
Exactly.
Oh, come on. There must have been times when Australia have been something similar to that. Maybe not in so few overs.
Well, they
actually.
can do it in an ODI.
Well, that was his point.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. I thought it was the lack of wickets as well. But 298 for 2. Starc, halfway through his 13th over, is in to Crawley, and Crawley goes after that one. It's pushed wide. There are no slips and no short fielders whatsoever now. He mistimes the rather sort of square drive there.
Right, full credit to Crawley, who didn't just think hundreds enough, and I can have a swish and get out now.
I like this from Mr. King. He's obviously an Australian. He says, after all I've said dissing England for not selecting a spinner, we go do the same stupid thing. Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes that they thought to themselves, in strengthen the batting, but I don't think they really need to strengthen the batting. They just probably need to bat a bit better.
Honestly, I just think they thought Murphy was so poor in the last test. There's no point.
But he wasn't that poor.
He bowled like 4 overs and got battered in the whole test.
Well, yes, because Stokes went after him, didn't he? At that point, he didn't get on to bowl until quite late. This is another 2 for Crawley as he skives that one over the top of gully backward point.
But that speaks to their lack of confidence in him in the first place. They
Yes.
didn't bowl him at all in the second innings.
300 for 2. I suppose it does, but I mean, I think it's partly they've become so reliant on Nathan
Well,
Lyon.
I think again it's a bit like us. It's a bit like England. I shouldn't really say us. It's a bit like England with Jack Leach.
Yeah.
Just that. Well, Jack Leach is our spinner. Oh, he's injured.
Yeah, what
Crap.
do we do?
What do we do now?
We go and get Moeen, who scored a 50 and a useful one. Another super chat. M, €6. Thank you very much, M. He says, thanks for the constant entertainment. That's our pleasure.
It's flying through at the moment. This is tremendous. Played square again on the offside by Crawley. And going back to how well Crawley's played in the sense of not giving it up at 100, I think he got on top of them, and then and they batted sensibly. They picked up the singles. They realised there were lots of runs to be had, and they didn't have to smash the ball around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've batted very well, these two in particular, and mine batted well as well.
Yep.
Jay Grover says, I have it on good authority, Peter Layla, that Pat Cummins is a woke liberal communist. I also have it on better authority, Jeff Lemon, that Peter Layla is a twat.
Well, I understand it from Messy Jez. I have an authority from Messy Jez that Patrick Cummins has taken quite a lot of stick in the Murdoch papers in Australia for his kind of
woke liberal
woke
communism.
Communism, yes. Now, Zach Crawley is the leading scorer in this series, would you believe?
Who'd have had
Well,
that?
there you go. Taking over Usman Khawaja.
Yeah.
Dave Wood says, every time you say super chat, I earworm myself with the blankety blank super match game. You've got me doing it now.
Super match.
I get that game.
Well, maybe we can have a
game.
jingle for that because we got another one for Jayhan. He's given us another Australian dollar, $7.99.
Marsh to Root onto the front foot, turns it to mid-wicket. Alex Kerry is now standing up to Marsh.
And you see, the point of Super Chat is if you Super Chat us and give us some money, we have to read out your comment, which is obviously
It's a well-known thing. Yes, I'm surprised you haven't done it before.
Well, we have, but not many people have taken it up.
Well,
it needs England to be 300 for 2 to trigger it.
Well, partly, but also there's been a lot of talk about it on the Discord channel amongst those guys who regularly talk to us via YouTube. We've got to give them credit because they've been saying, how can we make more money for Gorilla? This is a lovely drive from Root. He'll get 2. As Hazelwood is at deep cover.
Those who know me, although I'm nominally I guess director, head honcho along with Hendo, I never get on social media. So I don't engage with people. I'm sorry about that, Pete, but
I shall try to get on the Discord because I mean, as I've been whinging all day, I'm really sick of Twitter. Just not the people on it. The people on it are fine. It's the fuckery they're doing with it.
Well, you have to be a patron to be on Discord.
I am a patron.
Oh, there you go then. Marsh in again to Root. Root onto the front foot, defending, good length delivery, straight to extra cover.
Anyway, I shall say Jayhan's point. He says 2012, day 1, Adelaide. Australia were 482-5 after 82 overs against South Africa. Wow. They were playing Bazball 10 years ago. Warner run a ball 120 against Steyn and Morkel.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, they did it once. It wasn't their whole philosophy.
No, it wasn't an ethos. But there've been times when I've been watching England in Australia, and it feels like we're going at about 7 runs and over. Marsh in bowls onto the back foot goes Root, and he brushes that one away down to deep backward point. They're going to get back for an easy 2. Such great placement, and as Andy was pointing out, there are some wide open spaces now. It just needs intelligent batting, and that's what we're getting. It's another no ball.
Yay! Oh look, we got lots of jingles, and we have the no ball, no limit.
Yay! Let's go for it.
No, that's a no ball.
Hey!
There you go.
We've got a new no ball jingle.
We've got about 10 new no ball jingles.
Are we?
Grant Hawkins
use them all in this
load.
series. There's a camera pointing at Steve Smith as if he's going to bowl.
Oh, I hope so. Marsh in again to Root. Root again playing in that direction. He's going to look for 2. He puts his head down, runs hard, and then he realises he's got to get past Mitchell Marsh, who's quite a big unit to run round. So he won't be able to get back for the second on this occasion, but he does take the 1. He goes to 65. England 306 for 2. They trail by 11. 11.
Indeed.
I don't think I could believe. If someone had told me that sort of
well, this is what we were dreaming
half an hour after tea,
day,
306 for 2.
Yeah.
We believed England had to play this way without any chance of winning this game, and they managed it.
If you'd offered me 306 for 2, to coin a phrase from earlier today, I would have bitten every part of your body off.
Well, it's going to be interesting what GPL scores are, actually.
Oh, yes. Marsh in again to Crawley. Crawley, just tries to turn that. Maybe turned his back slightly early and nearly popped up a catch to the man on Hayden position, which is kind of just off the cut strip.
I think everybody's going to be out of it because the highest, well, apart from the fact that Mog went 989, we're not going to get to 989, Mog, but thank you very much for your donation of £1. The high score is 387 on Brain Nuevo, and there's already been, they got 18 runs, didn't they?
No, yes, 18, yeah. Oh, now that comes back into Crawley. I was a little bit surprised by that one. Perhaps a little bit casual as well. Got a bit of an inside edge, but gets away with it. End of the over. England 306 for 2. Crawley has the same score as Derek Randall got in the centenary test, 174.
Right, so there's 324 is the current score. So basically everyone's out apart from a Lancashire bloke and Ombre Nuevo on 327 who are going to be out in about 1 ball.
And we've got an hour and a half to go.
328 is obviously going to be out. 357 is out. 387 is somehow
the only one with a chance. Well, Ravi was just asking about the GPL, so asked and answered.
How many entries did we have today? Quite a few, by the looks. Yeah, it's good. That's great.
We had 20 entries today, so the pot will be 40 quid tomorrow.
It's a little bit short of the 1,000 that I asked for, but then there you go.
Aim high. Jay says he worked my fielding style out from my anecdotes alone. No cameras involved. Messi Jez says, despite the mad right wingers objecting to Mitchell Starc's concern for our play, I think we're talking about Cummins, but either way, he has huge support across the country, and also
Starc gets that one to swing. You were talking about there might be a bit of a reverse, and that was a way swing to the right-hander. Started around about leg stump and moved a little bit further towards off, but he didn't seem to bowl it particularly quickly.
But
he had plenty of time there, didn't he?
How many overs has Starc bowled now in this particular spell? It's got to be his 4th, hasn't it? He's got a dodgy hamstring or knee. It's got to be this or one more. It's got to be his max, hasn't it?
That said, England have slowed down since tea. They're only going at 5.5 and over as opposed to 7.5.
Time to pick it up.
In that session between lunch and tea.
Funnily enough, I think it is.
Here is Starc bowls, driven by Root very pleasantly, but he won't get a run, straight to mid-off. And yeah, you do feel, don't you? I mean, I like Patrick Cummins, and there was an article this week. Steve James did an interview and said he's the Aussie that even the Poms like, and he is a little bit. And I do admire him as a cricketer. He came back from a really difficult injury early on, hence what we've got in our jingle. And you know, he won that game at Edgbaston for them, didn't he? Brilliant batting.
Yeah.
And he's a superb bowler.
Yeah. Easy Ollie, super chat, $2. Thank you very much. €2. Says Lord Zach is Australia's dad.
Driven by
comment, not so much of a question as a comment.
Yes.
Didn't really time that one as it went up to mid-off. In fact, you saw the bottom hand came off the bat. Crawley 174 from 169 deliveries. Root has 65 from 72. Starc is into his 14th over. Figures of 2 for 66. He's the only Australian bowler to have taken wickets in this innings. And there are no close fielders. There's a backward point. The keeper's miles back for Starc. When you see it from overhead, this is worked past mid-wicket. They might get back for a second here as Marsh comes in. They decide against it, so just the one. Root is on his favourite score of 66, and England are 307 for 2. They are within 10 runs of equalling Australia's first innings score of 317 all out.
Basically in 2 sessions and a bit.
Yep.
Oh, not even that.
Oh, well, Starc's now, he's going to slow things down. He's not happy with the ball.
Yes.
He's had a look at it as he walked back to his mark. He's thrown it to Khawaja. Khawaja's going to examine it. Well, there's no point in examining it unless you're going to go and give it to the umpire. Yeah. I mean, that's just using up time. He reckons something's wrong with the seam, I think. Maybe there's a little bit of stitching come loose.
Should have a change at the end of this over. Jay says, solipsism alert. The current biggest GC money spinner is the one I have no involvement in. I'm back to flogging my dead shower curtain.
Put it up.
Yeah, put it on eBay. See what you get on eBay for it. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Make people bid for it.
Brand new, packaged.
How much did it cost?
Unused.
Free delivery.
Better be on 78 quid or something.
I don't know. Have we solved the problem about the bucket hats or not? We haven't had a response from them.
No, I've had no response yet. It said 2 to 4 days.
Oh, God, really? Starc bowls. That basically means they have no staff and they can't be bothered.
Yeah.
This comes off the thigh pad. I think they're going to take a single quite easily. Behind square. 308 for 2. I mean, I suppose that's a way of companies really not bothering to employ people to answer your queries quickly, isn't it?
Yeah. How can you charge 15 fucking quid to send a bucket hat from some depot in England to another address in England? I mean, it should be about £2.50 if you're charging.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we await what they say about that. Starc running in again. Bowls to Root, and Root opens the face, guides it away. Beautifully played. Brilliant pick-up by Green. Actually down at third man. Had to make up some ground.
He looks like he's about to cry.
He's got a very mournful face, hasn't he?
Who usually does.
Yeah, well, they're going to get 2 there, and that's the end of the over. 310 for 2.
It's switcheroo time. Hendo, you're going to have to come and sit here because you're on with. We're about to have some hyperbolic conviction.
Oh my God!
It's Gary. All right, Gaz.
Hello.
And who's on?
Oh, turn yourself up. You're very, 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 very quiet.
I'll move them, mate.
And who's on?
Can you just put it underneath your mouth or something so we can actually hear you?
Yeah, is that better?
Well, it's slightly better, but it could be nearer to you.
You're still on, Bear. What are you talking about?
Maybe
No,
I'll
I'm off. Nestler's is taken over.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll come in and do jingles. 310 for 2. Welcome, Gary.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad to be here. What extraordinary days cricket!
Absolutely.
In a year and a bit of extraordinary cricket. I think I'm summarising, aren't I? I don't want to.
No, you're ball by balling.
Am I? Oh,
can you ball by ball? Is your feed okay?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's fine. So John Crawley, he's rather different to John Crawley. Zach Crawley is on 174, and the latest lion to the slaughter is Mitchell Marsh. I've got a question for you about Mitchell Marsh in a moment, as this is half volley, and it's punched through extra cover. Is it going to go all the way? I tell you what, I think it is. Oh, that feed's a bit slow, but Zach Crawley isn't. He goes to 178.
Yeah, another lovely shot. He's played some extraordinary drives today. And they're not all half volleys. I don't think that was a half volley. I think that was on the up a little bit.
I mean, that's why I was defending Crawley when, the denigrators were at their peak, giving us various numbers as Crawley just knocks the next one into the leg side. There is no run. I said that what England see in him is a man who can hit a perfectly good ball for 4. And one or two people have had a pop at me about this, but shifters, there's no greater momentum for the fielding side than the first ball of the innings. They've got fresh bowlers, they've got a new ball, and Crawley just shifts the momentum as Marsh is in again, and he hoiks this. It's gone high and handsome. Is it gone all the way? I'll tell you what, it has, 6 over long on. Extraordinary stuff. He goes to 184. England 320 for 2. They now lead by 3. Have you ever seen anything like it in your life?
I mean, the great thing about this is that this you don't see it that often, but this is a man in the zone, and he's loving every minute of it. I mean, we really don't want to sort of kibosh him and overpraise him, but you just want to watch it. You just want to watch it, don't you? You just want to watch it.
You can't kibosh somebody who's on 184. So this is punched hard, but it's fielded at short extra cover. Yeah, this is what England saw in him. They saw a man who can take any bowling on any pitch, and it's going to fail sometimes, but when it comes off, it leads to things like no balls there, because Mitchell Marsh's mind is scrambled, Australia's mind is scrambled. It's not always going to work, but again, as I said about playing Johnny Bairstow in the top 6 or 7, they're not all going to fail, and it just seems incredible now that England threw away those opportunities in the first 2 tests, because they look so on top now. As Crawley clips this through the leg side, it goes out to deep square leg, because Australia are conceding a single anywhere they like it's the last 10 overs of a ODI. The lead is now 5. Crawley goes to 185.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say that, and I don't think. I think a lot of the criticism has been justified. Actually, I don't really totally agree with you on that, Gary. I mean, yes, he's brilliant. He's been brilliant today, and he has been pretty good on other occasions. But there have been too many failures. My thought before this test was he's got to play that match-winning innings, and maybe this is it.
Root go the authentic scoop, I think, rather than the reverse scoop that he tends to favour. And how's this gone? No, it's gone down to long leg. It must have bounced in front of him, and the ball was returned. 23 for 2, 69 to Root. Look, I agree with you, but that was the deal England made. The deal England made was that we were going to have some failures, but we were going to have some enormous peaks.
Yeah, you say some. I mean, I think you're being a bit disingenuous by saying some failures. There've been a lot of failures. Failures.
But England accepted some failures. Maybe they accepted a lot of failures. But what they've got in return is this extraordinary ability to hit length balls through extra cover for 4. That's the end of the over. No run off the last ball. 323 for 2. Crawley 185. Root 69.
Jay Grover says, if he was keeping to Starc, I'd be shitting it somewhere around the rings of Saturn. And also says, given the cost of living, my shower curtain can now clothe a family of 38. And he also says, hooray, Gary! We've had an offer from Dave Wood.
I don't know whether...
said,
Sorry, go on.
I'll deliver from and to any address in the UK for 12 quid.
There you go. I just wanted to say one thing that we've had on YouTube was, and this is interesting, I wonder whether there is anything in this. Dara Azizi says, D.I. Stevens has been showing Crawley a few tips. Of course, Men of Kent, a pair of them.
Yes.
And a very quick scorer, isn't he, Dara? He was, or certainly was.
Well, he was later in his career where he just teed off whenever he chose to. So we're getting Mitchell Starc back on.
No, he's been on for a while.
Oh right, yeah, he was. He did look like he was pulling up lame in the fetlock. We're not getting any cricket at the moment because the over rate's always dismal, especially when you've got a spinner who's missing, as Australia have, and they're under the cosh. So expect 2 or 3 minutes between each over, which gives me the opportunity to ask you a question, Hendo. Why isn't Mitchell Marsh and Cameron Green on bowling bouncers to a leg side field?
You struck a very good point there. I don't quite understand it when you consider what happened in the last test.
Yeah. Here's Mitchell Starc, and this is driven by Root, but it's a inside edge, and it goes to short mid-wicket. There is no run.
I mean, I suppose it's potentially possible that they got bored playing that way and they didn't enjoy it. And it was hard to watch, possibly hard to play in. Hard to play in, perhaps, yeah.
I was there. It was horrible to watch, but it was effective.
Yes, it was.
And Marsh and Cameron Green can do it because, you know, they can bowl quite a few overs, and if they get exhausted, well, they just go back to what you might call a proper bowlers because they're there as all-rounders. And they're tall men. Anyway, here's Mitchell Marsh, and that's down the leg side, and Root just leans on it and tickles it to fine leg, and they're through for a single. I've never quite worked out what the difference between fine leg and long leg is, but
well, I will tell you. I will tell you, and this is based on the Ladybird Book of Cricket from 1969. Long leg is much squarer than fine leg.
Yes,
too many times people identify long leg as fine leg, and it does my bleeding nutting.
Well, I think I got that one right because I did think that fine leg was, as its name suggests, fine.
Yes,
and
I mean,
therefore
people just get lazy in their field descriptions, I think.
Well, long leg often seems to merge quite closely with deep backward square if you take it.
Well, I would say long leg is between fine leg and deep backward square. I think if you went equidistant.
There's nowhere else to go.
No, exactly.
So here's Mitchell Starc again, 2 for 69. Mitchell Starc. He's probably been the best of the Australian bowlers, and Crawley perhaps betraying a little bit of mental tiredness there. He takes the top end off. It was a bit of a yahoo, but he's seeing it like a beach ball. And would you believe it? No greater sign of a lack of morale in a team than bowling no balls. And I don't know how many no balls there's been today, but I think the words too many are too few words, really.
Well, we've got a new jingle for that.
Yeah.
No, that's a no ball.
There you go.
Yes, well, there's no limit to the no balls at the moment, as Starc is in from round the wicket and Crawley gets a half volley. And again, there was a bit of tiredness, I think, in that shot there. He just threw the hands through it. No timing. It went to Patrick Cummins, contemplating life, the universe, and everything at mid-on.
Darren Smith joined us on YouTube. Just found your site. Brilliant. I have to switch off the BBC every 20 minutes. Say no more. Who comes on every 20 minutes that you don't like? Is it Michael?
Oh, God.
Just switch it off.
Just switch it off in general. Not just every 20 minutes. Switch it off and listen to us full time.
There are a few contenders on the radio, I can promise you. As Starc is in, and this is hit high in the air, took the hand off again. Crawley is just looking like a walking wicket here. He looks like a man who is all in. But that flew high, but dropped into no man's land. That's extra cover, and he's through for a single.
No, two, I think. They got back for two.
Two?
Yeah.
187. You're absolutely right, Hendo. 327 for 2. Am I right here saying Crawley looks tired? It looks like all the air's gone out of the balloon to me.
Do you think so? I don't know. I mean, I thought the previous shot to mid-on, I thought he timed quite nicely. I think That was a bit of a tight shot, but he does do that occasionally anyway. Even at the top of the innings, takes the hand off the bat occasionally.
Yeah,
so
but it's like coming off the shot a little bit, like he wasn't completing his action if he were a bowler. That's much better. He just got in behind that. It was outside off, but he worked it into the leg side, and of course there are open spaces everywhere. That's your Brucey bonus for hitting boundaries, and he helps himself to a single. 188. Desmond Haynes got 188, didn't he, in 1980? Do you remember that, Kendall?
I don't remember that, I have to say. I don't remember that.
When the scores get big like this, I try to think of other innings that are in my memory of that. So I'm rather hoping for a single, because that will be an innings that you will remember if Crawley can get one more. As Root's on 69, he looks up. He sees Mitchell Starc from round the wicket, and he plays just a lovely push, really, rather than the drive to the sweeper, who is Travis Head. And he's through for a single. Root has 70. He pinches strike at the end of the over, like all good Yorkshiremen should. And England continue to harvest runs.
Well, we've had $4.99 US from GC Naked Fun, and he's saying, requesting a mashup of Gary's body of water evaporating in swing theory and Bear's story about a person tied to a door in the form of a haiku.
Well, you're asking for quite a lot there, I have to say.
And he's also suggesting that on eBay there should be signed photos of Jay using his GC radio shower curtain. Jay says, are Gary and Nestler's just being models in a men's fitness catalogue? I'm getting shamed. Also, Gary, 2 words for you. Sedidimus. I might have said that wrong.
I might have to do some homework on that.
Didymus.
I do love it when Gary's got his hat on. He looks like an extra from Dinner Ladies.
Well, people have said that. Other people have told me I look like the shopkeeper from Mr. Ben. And I'll tell you what, if Patrick Cummins could find a secret door in the changing room now that led into a world of dinosaurs, he would walk straight through it. Here's Cameron Green, and Joe Root goes back. He picked the short ball there. He was certain it was going to be short. It was, and it was a slower short one, and he just swivel pulled it down to long leg, Hendo, or was that deep backward square?
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. I'll tell you why I wasn't looking. I was about to play the Cameron Green jingle.
We are the Cameron Green Appreciation Society. God save Mitchell Marsh's brand of all-round variety. We are the Cameron Green.
Short again from Cameron Green, and swivel pulled again by this time Zach Crawley, and they walk an easy single. That was the 200 partnership raised by Crawley and Root. Crawley now goes to 189, so Hendo, you know what I'm thinking of.
Well, I presume you're thinking of a game that wasn't Test cricket.
It wasn't Test cricket. It was at this ground.
It was an ODI match, and it was Viv Richards, was it not?
It was. It was when they used to call them one-day tests, if you recall.
Did they call them one-day tests?
They did, right up until sort of the mid-'80s in common parlance. It was a one-day test, and I watched it in my student digs, I recall, as this is swivel pulled again by Joe Root, but there's a man at long leg.
He's done that.
And Stephen Smith, who flings the ball into the bowler's end. And are there buzzers? Oh, yes, there are buzzers. The wheels are coming off here. The captain's got to go and retrieve it. And, oh, dear. Well, somebody's paying fines in the bar later, aren't they? England go to 335 for 2. Root has 75 now. Did he get 4 off that or 3?
I don't know. Actually, was it Root batting? It must have been 4 then. Yes,
it was.
Yeah, he's an all-run 4.
2 to Stephen Smith at long leg, and then another 2 buzzers. Yeah, it's the sound of the wheels coming off. Now, we've seen this, of course. We've seen England fold horrendously on Ashes tours in Australia. To be fair to the Australians, they are folding horrendously here. Sorry, that was another single there to Root. Again, that's pulled down to long leg. But the difference is England were on the way to 5-0. Here, Australia, with the weather forecast we've got, are probably on the way to 2-2. But we'll wait and see, because we're bagging the Australians here, but they are ahead in the series.
Oh.
As he's bowled, Cameron Green goes round the wicket. He was expecting a short ball there with Zach Crawley. He was definitely tired. He attempted to pull a ball that wasn't as short as he was expecting. And to the credit of the Australians, they're running up to shake Crawley's hand, recognising one of their own in terms of that amount of belief that was put into positive cricket. Stephen Smith, the last man to shake Crawley by the hand. He walks off to a standing ovation, 189 runs to his name. That crowd will never forget that innings. Zach Crawley will never forget that innings. And he's taken the game away from the Australians. England 336 for 3, the lead 19.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Zach Crawley. Maybe kept a little bit lower than he expected as well. They seemed to chop it on from the bottom edge of the bat. But a fantastic knock, extremely exhilarating for him, I imagine, but also exhilarating to watch. Some absolutely stunning drives and pickups in that innings. It was fantastic to watch, but he's on his way, and England have lost a third wicket.
Hattie. Oh, sorry.
Yep, very good stuff from Zach Crawley. Shame that he couldn't go on to get a double 100, even if he was getting a bit tired. I think he deserved it, really. Notwithstanding a few Vatican slices, it was a thoroughly great knock to watch.
You find these things in sport. You find it in life. I've always thought he looks quite a lot like Tadej Pogacar, who is currently second on the GC in the Tour de France, a double winner. And around this time yesterday, we had a rare insight into the heart and soul of a professional sportsman, where he went on his radio as he was slipping behind in the stage going up a horrendous mountain just outside Courchevel, and said, "I'm gone, I'm dead." And it's very rare that you have that clarity in exactly what's on a sports person's mind. And it was almost the opposite for Crawley today. So they look alike, but Crawley was in the zone, as you said. Hendo, he must have felt like an absolute Superman. He must have felt completely invulnerable. The tiredness did eventually come in, mental as much as physical, and he played a couple of poor shots even before he got out there. But his job is well and truly done, and he can look back on that with an enormous sense of satisfaction, I think.
You know, and he's like a lead-out man, Gary, isn't he? He's done his job and he's just pulled away.
Is Harry Brook a member of the peloton coming in now? I guess he is. Tremendous knock. It just kept a bit lower than he expected, I think. Didn't quite bounce. But this is Harry Brook. He'll think he's been missing out. He'll be quite happy to get out there in this situation. What we've also missed is that in that period, England have gone into the lead and are now 19 runs ahead, by the way. Anyway, this is Harry Brook's jingle.
Another word, I think, to the Australians' reaction. The first man to go to Crawley and shake his hand was David Warner, an opener under pressure. And it's easy to criticise David Warner. God knows he gives us enough reasons to do so. But there is still that annoying sense of baggy green tradition, honour for the game, call it what you will, that the Australians don't sulk when they're in receipt of a pounding. They recognise a fellow warrior in the game of cricket, and it really was heartwarming to see the Australians' reaction to Crawley there. As the game continues, last ball of Cameron Green's over, again round the wicket to Harry Brook. Brook just ducks under it. It's the end of the 57th over. Yes, the 57th over. England are 336 for 3.
Hattie says, thank you for trying to sort out the post on the hats, £15. But she sent us a £5 yesterday on Super Chat to say thanks to us. Thank you, Hattie.
Nice.
Jay Grover says, it might be the bug spray talking, but I refuse to get cross about Hendo's bobbins, re loss, failure, ration of England. Also, Sean looks like a serial killer with the backlight and the gigs, getting the proper fear.
One of my friends watched for the first time. He was in Thailand, and he said, "Where do I watch or listen to your commentary?" And I said, "Well, go to YouTube." And then I got a WhatsApp back from him a little bit later. Said, "I just saw a man in his bedroom," and I think that must have been you. That's like, it does look like a bedroom.
It is a bedroom.
It is a bedroom. Yeah.
Sean, just a few words. Were you as moved as I was by that radio message from Pogacar yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to his preparation pre-tour.
Yeah, there's reasons for it.
Yeah.
As here is Josh Hazelwood, and Root just dabs that to the man who's at backward point. And of course, this is what a wicket does, because instead of no fielder being in shot, we've now got 3 men fairly close on the offside. It's Root who's batting. In that sense, hasn't changed in terms of the man on strike, but Cummins just feels now more able to start cutting off the singles. How Root will react to that, he's on trombone time, as Brian Johnston always used to say. 76, trombone time. Let's see how he does it.
Also, Gary, there are rumours going around that he's not well.
Yes, anyway. I've heard that. This is punched by Root through the inner offside field, and it'll be, I'm sure, Travis Head down there sweeping. Returns the ball for a single.
I tell you what, I wouldn't be well after cycling what they've cycled for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, well,
it's been brutal.
Yeah, if he wasn't well, he certainly did a bloody good individual time trial to beat Wout van Aert by a minute and a half and the field. So I'm not necessarily taking that. My son, I watched it with my son Jesper yesterday, because he'd spent the winter season working in a bar in Latanya, and they went through Latanya, and he was saying, I was waiting at a bus stop there at 5 a.m. There's the bus stop. And as the approaching caution, I said, I know that bar there, dodgy. You've got to be careful with that one, and so on. So he was naming the highs and lows of the actual towns going through, which was great fun. As Harry Brook gets a half volley, but just defends this into that close offside, no run.
Christ Quiet's joined us, says, what a trio, like getting the band back together. Hendo, Nestlers and Gary, looking and sounding good, even though Mrs. Quiet thinks Hendo and Tony are the same person.
Oh, really? I don't know who that. Obviously,
you don't sound like
that's good for Tony, but not so good for me.
You don't forget everything.
I do forget a few things, has to be said. We should say this is a new spell, I think, from Josh Hazelwood, taking over from Mitchell Starc.
Yes!
The reason I say that is I want to play his jingle in a minute.
Well, you can after this delivery is Harry Brook gets off the mark with a little push into the leg side. You got a little bit of the hurry-ups there from the suddenly more motivated Australian field. He has one, England have 338 for 3, and we have a jingle.
Yeah, this is my favourite Josh Hazelwood jingle.
He's a walking, talking Josh Hazelwood. Walking, talking Josh Hazelwood. Walking, talking Josh Hazelwood. He's a walking, talking Josh Hazelwood.
Well, I've heard some tributes to Cliff Richard in my time, but none quite as flat as that. But there you go. As this ball is pushed to extra cover, there's an appeal from Hazelwood. Does he think it hit Root's pad first before the bat?
I think he
Don't
does.
think anybody else does, though. DRS timer is going down. There's no interest from Alex Carey, no interest from Pat Cummins.
Something I was talking about in the green room before I came on an hour or so ago was...
it did hit pad before bat, but it was well outside off stump.
Is that actually the umpires have robbed England of the opportunity of Australia burning reviews today. First with that attempted catch off Joe Root.
As here is Hazelwood, and this is pushed by Joe Root, and there is no run.
And I'm now going to have completely forgotten what the other incident was, but someone maybe from the green room will remind me when there should have been a review. And what was the incident? Someone will come back to me with it.
My brother was talking about T20 Finals Day. By the way, T20 Finals Day was going to be a complete washout, and yet they got all 3 matches in. I didn't go up to Edgbaston for it because I believe the weather forecast. So those of you writing off the weekend, there's still some way to go before that weather forecast is proved true. But he thought in particular that the umpires were just, if you like, umpiring with the kind of backstop or the safety net of DRS. And I've had a feeling some of that's been going on in this match. As this is short, and Harry Brook swivel pulls it down to Stephen Smith, who's at long leg, and another crappy return from Stephen Smith that Alex Carey did well to take on the bounce. 339 for 3. We'll go to your tweets in a moment.
Just to say that the Fourthie has been in to remind me what it was. Yes, they were about to review, and before they had the chance to review, Nitish Menon called no ball, so they didn't review anyway because it was a no ball and wouldn't have been out on that basis. But that's not the umpire's job.
Again, round the wicket, and Root swivel pulls this down to Steve Smith, who's very busy at fine leg. Another terrible return, but still 340 for 3. Well, I was watching earlier with the aforementioned Jesper, and I think there was the quite tight Crawley LBW which got overturned.
Yep.
And he asked me, and I didn't know what the answer was, that they ran through for a single. So why wasn't the single, a leg by actually? Why wasn't the leg by allowed?
Yeah, should have been.
And then whether they actually, had to return to the correct ends as short swivel pull Steve Smith Fields, better return, single.
We had another. Sorry, Nestle. I don't know if you saw it. We had another Snapchat go through. Well, it's not Snapchat. What is it called?
Super Chat.
Super Chat.
Super Chat game. Super Chat game. J-Han.
Thank you. So
$7.99.
What is the answer to that question about taking a single on a review?
Good question.
Green is in, and this is pulled yet again by Joe Root, yet again to Stephen Smith, who fields, and yet again it's a terrible return, yet again it's a single. This is rubbish to watch, isn't it?
Well, this is a bit like it was at Headingley on that third day, wasn't it?
No, Lords it was.
Was it Lords?
Yeah, and I was there, having to put up with it. But it's not quite, because it's not really dangerous bounces. They're not really getting up around the armpit. They're sort of hip height. Oh, that one does get up though, but it bent his back a little there to Green. Still only 82 miles an hour though, and it's through to the keeper. So he then said, well, what about what happens in a last, an ODI when it's one run required, and if the other side review, did the run get chalked off? I didn't know any of the answers to this about reviewing and taking a single, and what happens if it's the last ball, and all of this kind of stuff. Maybe someone can enlighten us on Twitter, as yet again, short, Harry Brook swivel pulls it. It's a little bit less short than some of the other ones. Steve Smith gets it. It's the end of the over. England 343 for 3. They lead by 26, and we have your tweets.
I think we have a changeover.
We have a change coming. Yep. Tony is chomping at the bit to get in here. He thinks he was robbed of 2 minutes of ball by ball yesterday by me at 11:30. I'm going to play a jingle, and then I will get out of the way.
We need your
Alternative cricket commentary, bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are Gorillas. We need your Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Hey. Hazelwood's going to be in.
Hello, Gary.
And defended away into the onside, but they'll take a single. They'll have to hurry. The throw comes in, and they get away with it. But we'll move on to 5.
Yeah, singles at will here for England. It looks like the Australians are kind of waiting for the close of play, and if they can get away with 4 singles and over, they'll get away with 4 singles and over.
It is a 2-person zoom. I was just trying to sort out. Thought I had to sort the camera out. Apparently I don't. 27 is what the lead has already stretched to. It's been a quite remarkable day's cricket. We thought it might be. We also thought there was every chance England would fall over in a heap. They haven't. Largely thanks to Zach Crawley and Joe Root, who's still there, who's just nudged this away towards point. And there's no run. Gary, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm very well. Hope you are too, Tony. I mean, I know I keep saying this, but they're not all going to fail. And if they bat for 2 hours, they're going to have 100. This is the England kind of top 7. So you don't actually need to bat all that long. Look, Zach Crawley's batted 3 and a bit hours, well, maybe more like 4 hours, for 189.
Well, they put on 178 in the afternoon session between lunch and tea, which was not bad going at all.
No. So, there will be the odd collapse, but they only need one or two of these guys to bat 2 hours, and the score's 250.
Hazelwood's in again, and that was a fairly loose drive by Joe Root, who sort of shrugs his shoulders, looks back down the track. It did keep a little bit low, and that's what he signals. So some variable bounce. I don't think at this stage England will overly mind that.
No, I would be. Once you're in the lead in a second innings,
everything
or indeed
looks rosier.
In a third innings, no, you start saying, "Oh, this pitch is doing plenty. That one kept a bit low." You start turning round to the bowlers and say, "I think you've got every chance here, mate." You just provide some demons in that pitch.
Hazelwood again over the wicket, slightly inside edgy by Root, but it's tickled away towards backward square. They will come back comfortably enough for 2. The lead stretches to 30, 347 for 3.
I've never seen an Australian fielding side concede so many 2s. I really haven't.
Well, it's because their game plan was very much about having fielders deep. They are starting to drop the ball short with some degree of consistency. Cameron Green has certainly been doing that. I mean, he's not a slouch by any manner of means, as I know Messrs will vouch for, but he's not super quick either. Hazelwood again is going to be bowling from the Jimmy Anderson end, the big old Victorian pavilion behind him, and that's flicked away off his legs by Root. He has glided onto 81. When I say glided, it's been a combination of some sumptuous drives and cover drives, and the odd impudent, what do you call it, ramp shot, which is at least 2 of those he's got in. 1 for 6, 1 for 4. And he's in great touch.
Cat owners will know this. You can have a cat who's half sleeping and being a cat and quiet, and if a half hour each day goes completely berserk. And Root has these half-hour spells where he goes berserk.
And that one is driven. Everybody wants to be a cat. Where's that from?
Are you saying Hendo is a cat, Gary?
Yes.
No, I think there are cat owners here, but they will recognise the mad half hour that domestic cats have, where they go berserk.
Yes, that's normally when they've just done a poo.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, that was the Aristocats.
It was the Aristocats. Everybody wants to be a cat. 81 for Joe Root, who is very much...
the Ponting wine's working when Tony starts singing.
And that one's nicely lit. Root was off for one. Harry Brook said, "No, you can stay there, Joe." And Joe Root's looking back at Harry Brook. Well, that was Joe Root's call.
Wow.
It was flicked away off his toes by Joe Root, out towards mid-wicket. It did go straight to the fielder. But Harry Brook said, "Not sure, boss." Oh, he's not boss anymore, is he? Oh, he probably still is, as far as the 2 Yorkshiremen are concerned.
Yeah. You can't expect good calling from 2 Yorkshiremen.
Well, no.
I need to go back to YouTube.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
So, Johan, for his $7.99 Australian, asked a question, which is part of the point of Super Chat, that you get your question dealt with. He says, if weather permits, England are showing they can beat Australia in home conditions. My question is, can they do this away, e.g. at the Gabba?
Well, fast, hard wickets, arguably, are not necessarily going to be anathema to the England approach.
How often do... I was going to say, how often do Australia...
Gabba last summer, where it was a bloody shit show.
Cameron Green, anyway, over the wicket. Short, of course it was, and died a horrible death. It was dug in, and Harry Brook just stood there and watched it, much as you might, a drunk person next to you in a pub, with sort of a look of dismissive disdain as he watched it. An attempted bouncer not only not bounce, but bounced twice before it got to Alex Carey. And Brook really might as well have been going, "I think it's time for you to go home, mate."
I mean, it won't be this England team facing up at the Gabba next time round, because Anderson, Broad, possibly even Wood will be too old. So it'll be a different England team. Whether this attitude can win in Australia, well, Bazball has its doubters from day one, and they keep getting proved wrong.
Green, that's a better ball. It's fuller and straighter, and Brook drives it straight to mid-on. Yeah, this England attack, the oldest four-man seam attack in a Test match since 1986, when New Zealand took on Australia in Christchurch, I think.
And won.
And it was a draw, that game, from
Was
my
it a draw?
memory. That was a draw.
Hadley, Chatfield,
Jeremy
Snedden,
Coney. Yes. Yes, Jeremy Coney. 347 for 3. Harry Brook, new man to the crease. He's in following finally the dismissal of Crawley, and it's nicely worked off his hip by Harry Brook. Backward a square. The inevitable Steve Smith fields, or even he there was one point today where the camera was panning around the Australian field, and there were double teapots everywhere, and particularly grumpy looking ones from both Labuschagne and Smith. Moeen Ali in a bucket hat looks sort of an interesting character, doesn't he, somehow?
I have a question for you, both of you, really.
Yes.
Maybe I need to send $7.99 Australian dollars or something.
Full again, and driven sweetly off his toes by Joe Root, flicked away.
Lovely.
It's out to deep mid-wicket. It is going to be hauled in by, I think that is Marnus Labuschagne.
Yeah, I wince every time I see a divot taken by a knee.
Baggy ears underneath his baggy green.
Yeah. My question is it fair to ask the Australians to play 6 Test matches in 9 weeks or whatever they will have done with the World Test Championship, and then this
100% not.
Telescope.
I feel very strongly about that.
Yeah, I do as well. We're bagging the Australians here for
as in comes Green, left by Harry Brook, taken at ankle height by Alex Carey. Now this could be tiring bowlers, but Green's only bowled just under 8 overs,
but
say 7.5.
Yeah, and I know he missed the last Test, but there's a sense in which it's a kind of cumulative tiredness that's as much mental as physical, and I just think it's not being fair. I think the Australians should have protested.
Well, this wonderful series,
this is the Ashes.
This wonderful series is being condensed to accommodate the folly of the 100, and I feel strongly that that's utterly wrong. And I think the cricket public's being shortchanged. This is guided to backward point by Brook, and there is no run. It's the end of the over.
I agree with that, but I think the players are being shortchanged because they can't give of their best as often as they're being expected to. Point made. I've
got a lot of tweets to get through. Jay says, sorry, obviously I'm soft as shite, but I like the handshakes. He also says Zach Crawley is no Tammy Beaumont. I'm not a religious person, but an OnlyFans starring me in the shower curtain would be an offence, but against both gods and men. Leah says there was a lot of pathos in that speech, Gary. Been listening to a lot of Wagner lately.
Neil Wagner.
Jersey Jingers says haiku as requested. A river nearby.
Hazelwood. Oh, he's bowled him. That one kept low. It's castled route, and it castled route only because it simply never got up. And I'm afraid to say that Joe Root's stumps are a splay. And you've got to say that's bad luck, really, because it was a good straight full ball, but it never bounced. And maybe England won't be so sorry to see that. It just grubbed. It was a horrible grubber.
Oh,
awful.
That's not good.
Well, no, that's what Nasser Hussain had, didn't he? There was one, you'll probably find it on YouTube, which is as low as that. It certainly was lower than the ball that Glenn McGrath got Michael Vaughan with at Lords in 2005. The only thing I would say is that he probably should have been forward to it, but
possibly,
even if he was forward,
large,
you
have a right to expect that to bounce.
Probably would have gone LBW.
Declare.
Shut up, Gary. Now, I've got to give Richard Peel's haiku the credit it deserves. It's about, as you recall, the combination of the Bears story about the woman on the back of the door and Gary's view about humidity from river and swings. A river nearby. What are two things that swing? A door and a ball. That's beautifully done, Richard. Thank you.
Like it.
Very good.
Well, we suspect the next man in will surely be the captain, who's going to lead from the front and go out on the attack.
I think so.
It must be, mustn't it? We'll carry on with messages until he appears.
Jay Grover says, I missed the tour going through Sheffield. We gave them Henderson's relish. This seems like a nice gesture at the time, but in retrospect, it seems like a Bradman's trick akin to Branko's dosing. Jace, he also says, "I can call you Summit Nailer."
you know what Henderson's relish is. You know what Henderson's relish is because it's your name.
I know.
But Henderson's relish is a particular pickle that is enjoyed in Sheffield and perhaps nowhere else, and so it's become the kind of scouse, if you like, of Sheffield. The food that is limited to the metropolitan area. And I know this because the National Theatre's musical, Standing at the Sky's Edge, Henderson's relish plays an important part in said musical.
Another kind of pickle is the one that Australia are
generally
in.
Speaking, when a food is limited to a region, there's a pretty good reason for it not to be.
Hazelwood's going to be bowling to England captain, who defends tidily, just pushing it along the ground all the way to mid-on. Let's jingle up the England captain.
Ben Stokes.
We do have to say that was really, really harsh on Joe Root, who was bowled Hazelwood with one that just simply didn't get up. He'd gone for 84, 95 balls, 8 fours and 1 6, and that 1 6 was a cheeky and impudent ramp shot. And that one's nicely played by Stokes. He just angled the bat. It's going off down towards third man. Cameron Green will get there and flick it back to Steve Smith, who seemed to swear, and I think he rather hurt himself as he did it. What's he done? He's hurt his arm, maybe almost put his shoulder out with the throw, I think. But he's fine. He survived. 36 the lead. We're halfway through the 14th over. 3:53 for 4. It has been some days cricket, my goodness, right from the very first ball when England took the first wicket, coming slashing to Stokes at cover off the bowling of Anderson. Hazelwood round the wicket, played tidily by the left-handed Stokes out to short extra, no run.
Stokes seems to be moving quite freely, perhaps as free as I've seen him moving in the whole series. Of course, he's only one ball away from getting a rap on the pad and hobbling for the rest of the innings. But
you always sense that he's part of his showmanship's the wrong word, but a couple of knocks and strains and challenges just add to the theatre. Oh my word, that was short, and that was a proper bouncer. And the look, more than an old-fashioned look from Hazelwood, that was a spiteful ball followed by a spiteful stare, and it most spiteful because it really came up from short of a length, but that one really rose up. And Ben Stokes, you were saying about Gary,
yeah,
all it needs, and he's just had one smack on the fingers.
Well, this is what I don't like about pitches. I don't mind side to side, a bit of seam, but you can't play a pitch with a ball does that.
Hazelwood, driven by Stokes. That's a glorious shot, just backward a point on the drive. Stokes says, if you're going to bowl me a short one, the next one, son, is going to the boundary, and off to the boundary it duly went. Fantastic shot by Ben Stokes.
4 F-O-R.
Absolutely through the bat, but he had his head over it. He'd angled the bat, his foot was right to the pitch, and it was a risk-free but nonetheless aggressive shot. Means at the end of the over, it's 3:57 for 4.
I think it's also a drinks break, so we'll get a chance
you've got
to
some
catch
time.
out.
Well, away you go.
Is it? It's not a drinks break. Is that the thing? I don't think so.
Oh no, sorry, no, it wouldn't be, would it? Jay says Steve Smith looks like he's been told to tidy his room for all eternity.
Yes.
And Gary uses 1,000 words to make the statement, they're knackered. Ravi Nair says, don't forget, Gary, that England are also playing 6 tests in 9 weeks. Remember Ireland.
Oh, yes.
That's true.
And
it was only a 4-day test.
I would also listen to the rather slowish run-up of the Valkyries by Neil Wagner.
Very good.
Cameron Green's going to be bowling from the Statham end. and he's going to be bowling to Harry Brook. And that's just wide of the off stump. Brook chops away towards point. There isn't a point, so the man from cover comes around. In fact, Travis Head has to end up. Oh, is it Kawaja? Sorry, Kawaja comes running in.
I mean, in the last 10 minutes, we've seen a ball not get even to half stump height that bowled Joe Root, and we've seen a ball that admittedly was dug in quite short, but it's not a 90 mile an hour bowler here. It was 82 miles an hour that Ben Stokes gloved from in front of his face. This is a day 2 pitch we're talking about here. It's not a day 4 pitch.
Yeah, it's not really behaving. It's more of a late day 3, day 4 type behaviour. You're absolutely right. 41 England lead by. This session, 21 overs, 119 runs, but for the loss of 2 wickets. 2 crucial wickets too. Those of Zach Crawley, and who didn't quite get to his double ton, but was magnificent nonetheless. Round the wicket. Played down again. It bounced a little bit more, and Stokes was on top of that to push it away to leg.
We'll hear how
another super chat.
Oh, go on.
From the wonderful Stephen Kelk, has given us €3 because it's my last day at work before the holiday. Excellent.
Oh well, where are you going on holiday?
Stephen.
Where are you? Are you going away on holiday? If so, where? And thank you very much. So basically, a super chat is if someone pays you money for it. Is that the deal?
That's right. They
this one
pay
is
some money
again
and
defended down into the ground by Stokes. One that leapt up a little bit. The Bears appeared. Tech support. What are we tech supporting, Bear? Are we looking at the GPL? What do we stand on the GPL? All I can hear is a mumble.
Whenever anybody donates on YouTube and they make a comment with it, that comment gets priority over everything else.
And that's why it's in great big, like yellow block text or green block or something.
Yeah.
This one is defended again by Stokes. He sort of double hit that actually, because he hit it down into the ground and then back up onto his bat.
We heard yesterday, what a good wicket this was for batting. A little bit of help for seamers and spinners, but essentially it was a good wicket for batting. We'll hear later about what a good wicket this is for batting. Largely it is, but a good wicket for batting does not do what this pitch has done in the last 20 minutes.
Well, no doubt Australia will want the heavy roller on it, and we'll see how it behaves then. This one is pulled. It was short. It was meaterly pulled away by Ben Stokes, but it's going to be fielded by Labuschagne at deep square. And it will restrict them to just a single and bring Harry Brook back onto strike. Brook and Stokes going pretty much neck and neck, 7 each.
Yeah. This time last year, we were in the middle of a kind of high 30s, even got to 40 at the Oval. I know because I was there. Heat wave. If it had had that kind of heat on this pitch, I mean, it really would be going crazy.
Well, I suspect you would, as Australia, definitely rue the lack of a spinner. That one is defended tidily by Brook down into the ground, just outside of off stump. Again, I think it's been sensible from England. It's the end of the over, though, and we can quickly go straight back to misses.
I should tell you that the latest weather forecast for tomorrow is for showers in the morning, but clearing around lunchtime. So we should get most of tomorrow in okay. Saturday's still looking a bit Armageddonish, but as Gary says, this is England. Anything can fucking happen. David Barrett just says, go even harder. And Jay Grover says, I like Scouse and Henderson's relish. So fuck you, Jeremy. Anyone who claims to like any cassava-based dish is a cultural.
Josh Hazelwood around the wicket.
Hard lying prick
to Ben Stokes, who jumps forward and was looking to attack, but decided that just dropping the bat on it and guiding it to point was the best solution. 359 for 42, which of course is the answer to life, the universe and everything, is also the lead at the moment for England.
Got one more for you, Gary.
Go on.
Pornbot says, did I hear Gary complaining about lack of airtime? If he has to super chat to summarise, we could wipe out the national debt of the US.
Hazelwood in again. That's slapped away by Stokes, but straight to short cover on the bounce. Fielded again by Labuschagne. It genuinely seems to be times when Australia have only 2 fielders, or they've got the full complement of 11 fielders, except they all happen to look like Smith and Labuschagne. It's quite amazing.
It also shows just how good England were in the afternoon session, because Brook and Stokes really want to get on with this.
And they're struggling, aren't they?
It's not that easy. I mean, it was touched by genius, that afternoon session.
It was. Hazelwood around the wicket again, and Stokes leans back, and he seemed undecided what to do with that. As much time as you have to make a decision when a hard piece of leather's coming at you at 83 miles an hour. But I think he started by thinking he was going to pull, realised he wasn't, then thought maybe he was trying to get out of the way, and ended up just fencing it down from with his glove, really, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, why haven't Australia got a short leg in here? They've seen the ball spit at Stokes at least twice, maybe 3 or 4 times already.
It'll be interesting to see what Hazelwood does here. It's Fuller, and it is driven. They're going to have to hurry too. If that hits, he's out, but he just about made it. The throw from Captain Cummins, who was at mid-off, came in. Stokes was committed to the run. He does want to get on with things. He and Brook had crossed. They were giving it all they could. But had that throw from Cummins hit, I think he would have been out by a country mile. Yeah, he's not even in the frame of our picture.
He'd given up.
He'd given up because he wasn't diving, was he? Was the Van Gogh look-alike?
Yes.
Thoughtful looking Pat Cummins. He'll be a little more relieved that at least now some wickets have fallen.
And the run rate slowed a bit.
And, well, as tends to happen if you lose the man who scored 180 odd and the man who scored 80 odd. That one's defended away into the offside by Brook. No run.
A genuine question. If it is cloudy tomorrow morning, there's a late start, heavy atmosphere, do England declare and get straight at them? I mean, I'd be inclined to do so. I'd be inclined to trust the forecast, say we've only got 2 and 2, maybe 3 at most sessions worth here. We've got to win. Let's try and get the 20 wickets.
Well, there's a first and a third slip. This is full and flicked off his toes nicely by Brook. It's gone to square leg. They just take a single. The number that's been trotted out a few times by a few of us today is 150 as a lead. Now, well, we've got another 35 minutes tonight. These two are desperately trying to get on with things. They've already got a lead of close to 50. So by the close of play, even if you lose wickets, you might assume England would hope to have a lead of 80, 90, possibly 95.
Yeah, I agree with Gary, though. If the conditions tomorrow when they start are really favouring swing and are overcast, and they might go on and off, get them in,
I would go along with that. 44 is what England lead by, 361 for 4 the score, misses.
I just want to say thank you for Warren for using the tweets to alert me to super chats when they come up. That's very helpful. Jay complains, I pay you loads of money, you still won't call Fred what I want you to call him. You know my rule, I will not read out tweets abusing
Cameron Green's going to continue to bowl his 10th over, dabbed down to gully by Harry Brook, who's been cautious to start, just 7 off 18. If he had orders to motor on, he's not been doing it.
The corollary then to the question about when England declare is that should they be batting now for the declaration? I know they're trying to bat positively, but they're not in declaration batting mode at the moment. And maybe the quality of the bowling's got something to do with that as well, because they have bowled better now and the pitch is starting.
Green's going to be over the wicket to the right-handed Brook, who drives straight to... Is that Mitchell Starc? And Mitchell Starc has taken a tumble here. And
he's on a bad leg anyway, and that looks pretty bad.
He's gone down on his shoulder.
He's gone down on his shoulder.
Yes, he has, Gary. Gone down on his shoulder. I think... No, is he all right? He's thrown the ball away.
Shoulder. It's his left shoulder. Mitchell Starc is not a man to milk it.
No, I think he's all right. He's bent over in pain. We're waiting for the Australian physio to appear, which he duly does.
Physio will make him go off, I reckon.
Definitely. Unless
we're going to see what happens.
Take time out of the game.
Here. He dives down. Yeah. Oh, he falls very heavily on that left shoulder. His baggy green comes off, and immediately, while he's still on his knees, He realises
that's the sort of thing that can crack your collarbone.
Yeah. The only thing is that might save him is that he's fallen on the point of the shoulder, and that can hurt like mad, but actually not do any damage. It tends to be when you put your arm out that you take your collarbone goes, or you dislocate your shoulder. I don't think this is a dislocation. I don't think it's a collarbone. It looks like a really painful point of shoulder injury.
Yeah.
So that might save him. But
he is going off.
He has to go off.
He has to go off. And he's walking.
At least he's walking freely now. But he's not. As I say, he's not a man to milk it, Mitchell Starc. If that hurt as much as it looked, it's because it hurt as much as it looked.
Yeah. Dave Wood says. He says several things actually. He's just burst into life. Sorry. Oh no, sorry. I've clicked a button. So he says.
Green.
So the
continues and is defended by Brook.
Beg your pardon. I thought we were going to have a break. I'll read it anyhow. So all the capitalist, communist, woke, liberal YouTubers get prioritized. That's political correctness gone mad.
Well, it's also YouTube being a slightly more flexible platform for certain things than Twitter. Twitter, mind you, does have its strengths. Getting advertising revenue at the moment, not one of them. That's defended on the back foot this time by Brook, nudged away into the onside. I should also tell you that today our wine of the day has been the Mowbray Boy Pinot Noir from the Tamar Valley, which is actually quite close to Mowbray in Tasmania. It's a bright, crunchy, fresh, spicy red cherry flavour dripping with ripe strawberries, and it's been a delightful drink for us to enjoy. This one's defended again by Harry Brook.
Who is it? It was Jilly someone, wasn't it, on the food and drink programme, who used to talk a little like that about wines, and we all used to laugh.
Well,
but now we're doing it.
Yes, she did. Just all to go to if you want to get your 15% discount. Just go to pontingwines.com.au/gorilla cricket. That's pontingwines.com.au/gorilla cricket, and you use the code GCAshes2023. 361 for 4. Are we switching over now?
Well, I have to go. I've got to.
We got one more ball to this over.
Oh, yeah, we do. Green in. Dabbed down into the ground by Brook, who's playing quite defensively and cautiously. It is the end of the over. We do have a change. It's 361 for 4.
I just wanted to apologise in case I didn't have time to appreciate the listeners for putting up with me for the last hour. I've got to get to the National Theatre on London's exciting South Bank, so hope to be back here soon. Bye.
See you, Gary. Nestlers. The next tweet is from Warren. Nestlers. Did you see my WhatsApp message?
No. And that's between you two. Right. All right, Nestlers.
All right.
What happened? Can you go on my Tour de France, man? What happened today?
Well, it was quite exciting, actually. There was a breakaway of 4 riders who actually stayed out. And
on a big hill?
No, it was flat stage.
Oh, okay.
Flat stage. So, yeah, it was an exciting finish. Nothing to do with the general classification. That's all done and dusted.
Yes, it looks that way. I see accusations of cheating are already flying around.
Never. The Tour de France?
Yes, exactly. Cummins is going to come in.
It's not. It's
round the wicket to Stokes, who just stands and delivers. Doesn't really get hold of it. It goes out to Travis Head on the mid-wicket boundary. I presume that's a signal to Brookie to go, yeah, you can do this too, you know.
Well, he is out there with him. He can tell him. You don't have to signal each other. We were wondering if England were going to do a crazy declaration. It wouldn't be congruent with the way they've batted the last bit since they lost Root and Crawley.
No, I mean, as we were saying in the dressing room, I think you've got to have a lead of 150 and hope beyond hope.
Go hard tomorrow morning and see what you can do tomorrow.
This is it. You've got, half an hour left. If you can get another 30, 40, 50 runs. And that's worked into leg side by Brook. out towards the man at deep back square. It'll be a single. I mean, you have to say Australia have been absolutely terrible with the overs. 65.2.
Well, they actually weren't too bad in the middle session. They managed 12 and a bit, which was more than we were expecting.
But it's 5 overs short every session, isn't it? It's
15
overs a day.
You're just not getting 90 overs a day. There's no point pretending that you're going to these days.
No, but I mean, you should be getting 84, 85 for the next half hour.
Yeah.
Today we're lucky if we're going to get 80.
There's a new protest group, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Oh, okay. Smashed into the offside by Stokes. But he can't get it past. Good bit of fielding by Marnus Navashane. Stokes, he hasn't been able to get it past him. He's looking to stand and deliver at the moment. Cummins is into his 14th over. Looking a bit tired. Pitch has behaved generally okay, but the odd ball has just really kept low. The one that got root was outrageous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about that at 80 odd miles an hour.
Not much, no. Like we were saying, if you play to prevent that, you'd never score a run because you just plunge forward to everything.
Precisely, but if you get a 150 run lead and you get an early wicket like that, you're going to play in the Aussie batsman's mind. It does play in your favour. As that one is guided by root out to the man on the cover boundary. It's Mitch Marsh. I mean, Australia must be a bit shell-shocked, aren't they? This is finally Bazball has come to the party properly.
Well, yeah, it's certainly been their England's best innings to date in the series, quite clearly. But they've never looked as if they're stretching to score quickly.
No.
Australia have set defensive fields as they have for most of the series. But Crawley and Root in particular were just very good. Picked up loads of twos into those gaps.
Yeah,
just with no risk at all.
Defended by Brook. Positively snail's pace 8 off 25.
Yeah, well, this is the Brook ball.
And he knows he can pick it up, and we know he can pick it up. But I wouldn't be thinking about coming back tomorrow morning. You can't play that. You've got to play for the team, haven't you? You've got a 50-run lead now. You've got to be accelerating still because, I mean, for all we know, there could only be about 2.5 sessions left in this game.
That's the great imponderable. I mean, it is a shame that rain is probably going to affect this. But again, you don't know. It might slide round.
Yeah, might do. Oh, yeah, it's me.
Oh.
Brook gets caught a little bit on the back foot, prods his bat out. It gets an outside edge. But it's always low and keeping down. It bounces well before Carey. And there is no run. He's had to look behind, but it did drop short.
Well, we were noticing in the green room how first slip standing in front of the keeper. He's standing closer than the wicketkeeper, and that's why, because even a genuine edge there died well short of Alex Carey.
Well, so that was his left shoulder, actually, wasn't it, that he landed on and he hurt. So is he going to carry on bowling? He's trying it.
It looks uncomfortable. There comes a point in an innings where there's really no point flogging your best bowlers. It's not going to make much more difference.
No. Well, Mitch Marsh is due to continue according to the score. I'm presuming they'll just massage him tonight. It's probably just a little bit of a jar, and you do have to go down on it quite hard. Immediately clutched it. See you later, Fred. Fred's off home. Thank you, everybody on YouTube. Thanks for all your super chats. We like super chats. I want more super chats, please.
Super chat game. Super chat.
Yeah, I know.
We need a jingle for that.
Yeah.
Mog,
every time we get one, play it.
Yeah, Mog or Jeff, if you're not familiar with what was that? That was super
blankety blank.
Surely they are familiar with blankety blank. I mean, we're all of a certain age.
Yeah, but they might have different jingles in different places and different formats. What was the segment called?
The Super Match Game.
Super Match Game. So if you need Super Match Game jingle type ideas, search for Super Match blankety blank on YouTube and you'll probably get it. And we could do with a jingle for that. That could be another marketing jingle for you super chatters on YouTube. Marsh is finally going to continue after wasting about a minute and a half, bumbling around. Don't know what that was about. Driven nicely by Stokes, but straight at mid-off. Probably could have run a single.
I think they should have done, yeah.
So, Just Stop Oil protesters have been surrounded by Just Stop Pissing Everybody Off protesters, preventing them from marching in the road, and they're all dressed in orange with the same sort of symbols on them.
Yeah, these people don't care about oil one way or the other. I mean, the counter protesters, they're just looking for someone to punch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. They've got a point, though, to Just Stop Oil, haven't they? I mean, you look at the summer in England. I mean, Jesus Christ. Smashed again by Stokes, but again, straight at mid-off. He's not timed them so well. I'm sure he'll get one in a minute. He's shaking his head.
Leia says, meanwhile in the port of Spain, India continue to bully the West Indies relentlessly like an East German would a wheelchair user with a rainbow T-shirt. India 125 for naught.
In how many overs? I bet that's going quite quick. They absolutely battered them in that first test, didn't they?
It didn't go quickly in the first one.
Driven nicely by Stokes. He's got that throw, extra cover. It is going to be cut off by Mitchell Starc, who's down at long off. They'll probably get back for 2.
Super chat game. From Easy Ollie, €2. There you go, Bear, for Lord Zach's innings as well.
Thank you very much, Easy Ollie. You're a star. I've enjoyed today's cricket. It's been absolutely stunning. Good day's cricket, and it is a shame that if this game gets cut off and it ends up as a draw.
Starc is on his way off. I think that's sensible. If they've got any concerns about him, there's no point bowling him or fielding him now.
No, very true. He's kind of holding his arm in a sort of limp kind of way, isn't he? Stokes is going to face up, marches around a wicket to him, pulled behind square. It's going to beat the man down at fine leg, I believe it is. Mitch, I think that's Travis. No, that Warner. I think he thought he was going to catch it and then realised he wasn't.
It's been a long day.
It has, and suddenly it's 4 more.
Oh, this is a bit odd because Stokes is playing his shots, but Brook isn't.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse for miscommunication because the captain's out there.
Maybe he's just not feeling it at the moment.
Yeah.
Stokes guides that out nicely. To the fielder in the deep on the offside. It'll probably be head this time, and they just get a single.
Hombre Nuevo wonders if they ever preempted weather in a test, like played an extra 30 minutes to an hour on the day before a shitstorm was forecast.
No.
I know it's not cricket, just wondered.
I've often wondered if you should do that in club cricket sometimes. If it's there are days where you just know it's going to rain at 5 o'clock and
beer match.
Well, not a beer match, no, but you say, all right, instead of 45 overs today, let's play 25, but you can't really do it.
No.
In a league format.
I used to play at Thaden where we had an alcoholic captain, and the moment it would start raining, you just go beer match, come on, beer match.
Oh dear. Mitch Marsh in and defended by Brook. He's really not taking any chances, and there's no run.
He was a fantastic opening batsman though.
Lots of runs.
Well, I replaced him as wicketkeeper as well, and I replaced him as a wicketkeeper because one day he was asleep on his haunches behind the wicket, and I was at first slip. And
that's definitely a new one.
He kept leaving balls, and I kept kind of like stopping my hands. I was like, "Are you all right, Mick?" Nothing. And then I went up to him, and he was asleep.
That's incredible.
That is quite mad.
He was a career alcoholic. This guy. I mean, he's still alive, which is incredible. But yeah, I replaced him as wicketkeeper.
Did you stay awake mostly?
Oh God, yeah. I'd never done it before that
You're
day.
a young
I was
whippersnapper.
terrified. Yeah, I was in my 20s, but I stayed wicket. He said, "I can't be asked. You do it." It was only Sunday seconds, you know.
That's Harris is on the pitch, isn't it? He must have replaced Starc. Round the wicket. Cut out behind square. It's not going to get to the boundary. It's going to be fielded by, I think that's Green out there.
There's someone else who seems to be pulling up a little bit lame. Yes, it's very odd. Stokes playing a shot off every ball and Brook's defending every ball.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, Jay says, Andy, I think Stokes is better at non-verbal communication.
Yes, I think as we've seen, he lets his fists do the talking.
I think Stokes Wokes. Brook even needs to just hit a 4 or 2 and it'll galvanise him.
Look, whether England are going to declare, they're not going to declare now, but whatever their plans are, I don't think there's any reason not to be getting after it at this point.
Down leg side, there's a sort of half appeal by Carey, but nothing on it from Brook. No, I mean, if they could have got to 150 lead tonight, there'd have been thoughts in the morning, but now with 18 minutes left, they'll be lucky if they're 80, 90 ahead.
Hey, look, racking up 400 in a day less half an hour is still really good. Yeah.
They do need to get that extra 30 runs. defended by Brook. And there is no run.
Warren is wondering if Ricky Ponting makes pork pies as well.
Not that I know of.
Not Melton Mowbray, no.
Don't think you're allowed to, are you? Aren't they one of the sort
yeah, they're one of
probably, yeah.
I like a good Melton Mowbray.
Bloody hell. Super chat thing, super chat thing. Jay Han has sent us another $7.99. The Australian counter to Bazwell being, I'd love to see them doing it against our boys. Have England now done that against our boys?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, as Brooks tries to guide that down towards third man.
Jahan is the super chatter of the day.
He's Super Chat King. Super Chat King.
Super Chat King, exactly.
Super Chat King. We need some Super Chat jingles.
Well, Jay said, my word, I'm of a certain age and I'd never heard the blankety blank jingle. Now I googled it and I feel the rage of 1,000 suns.
That was Terry Wogan originally, wasn't it? Back in the 80s?
Terry Wogan.
With that stupid microphone that was on a long
then
end of a
Les
stick.
Dawson. Oh, Brooks
pulled, finally, an aggressive shot. No,
No.
he hasn't now. He just mistimed it to mid-wicket. Brook eventually tried to play something aggressive.
Given
no run.
Given Dave Brooks' immortalisation in the Joss Hazelwood jingle, I'm already hearing Nestler's super chat rendition repeating in my head.
Do you know what the weird thing about one of the weird things about Blankety Blank is the people who were on it and you had no clue what they did. Like Lorraine Chase, what did she do apart from being on Blankety Blank?
No, well,
she did an advert.
She did
an advert. Great.
She was a model originally, wasn't she? That's guided down to the third man as number, and she was in a programme. I can't remember what that program. She was in a BBC sitcom, but I can't remember what it was.
Very memorable.
No, not really. But I was quite young. But she was quite fit when I was young.
Good one from Dave Wood. Speaking of Sunday matches and alcohol, we once had the start delayed as both opening bowlers were vomiting behind the sight screens at opposite ends after a heavy Friday night. Well, this guy, Mick, I once found him. I went down there on a Sunday morning and I found him asleep on top of the kit bag outside the front door of the clubhouse.
Comfy.
And he'd been there since he played in the first on Saturday, and he went into the bar and then just, instead of going home, he just slept on top of the kit bag.
Jesus Christ.
And he just woke up and sort of like, I woke him up and all right, Sean, and he was playing.
Oh, no, mate.
He's a very, very close friend of my father, actually. Mick Doc. Yeah.
Was he of Irish heritage?
He was, Mick Doherty.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. He's a great guy. He was a really lovely bloke. He still is. I saw a picture of him recently on Facebook, and he doesn't look any different. And given the amount of alcohol that guy's drunk in his life, I mean,
picture in the attic, you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, or he's pickled.
Yeah, maybe that too. Stokes is going to face up. Mitch Marsh is going to continue. He's gone for 51 off his 51 off his 7 overs. He's right arm over today, this over, and it's defended by Stokes back to the bowler. There is no run.
We did see a shot of Broad with his pads on. The Nighthawk is ready.
Ah, yeah.
If there is anyone listening from Faden Boys Cricket Club, you might know the legend that is Mick Doc.
I played one game for them.
There was a picture of you on their website.
What, Faden Boys?
Yeah.
What, of
me?
Yeah.
How weird.
That is weird because I played one game. Fred and I have a mutual friend, Alex, who played for Faden Boys, and he was short one game early in the season and went and played.
I went onto their website and I was just scrolling through some pictures, and there you were sitting, sort of, outside the boundary ropes with other people.
Well, that is strange because I literally played one game there.
Yeah.
When?
I know.
Oh, it was years ago.
Maybe that's one of the few photos they have from that era. You never know. Doing a history thing. Well,
I got naught, if I remember right.
Oh, well, there you go. That way you never went back. Stokes is facing up. It's all really slowed down. It's 68.2 overs. And Stokes guys that down towards third man. He's certainly manipulating the gaps. Gets himself a single. Oh, look, Jahan's back. Super Chat King, Super Chat King, Super Chat King.
He's not stopping, is he?
No, good man. Love it. Do you want to read that out?
Yeah, I'm just looking for Andy's photograph on the Faden Boys Cricket website. I'll be back to Jahan in a second. Yeah, as a Super Chat King, my background is I was born and grew up in Canterbury, Kent. Went to school with Tammy Beaumont. Emigrated to Australia 10 years ago.
There you go.
Wow.
I know Canterbury reasonably well. We're a South East London crew here. Well, I'm South East London. Everyone else isn't, but this is where we're based. Oh,
Hendo's South London as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's
South
southwest
London,
though,
he's
yeah.
Wimbledon. That's
Exactly.
defended by Brook. Back to the Bouldens, no run. SW18, yeah, they're all a bit weird down there, you know. Posh. It's gritty and real down here in South East, you know. Not so much anymore, actually, fair to say. They've been down here since the early 90s. It's certainly become more gentrified since I've been around here. Mitch Marsh is in. Cut, finally. No, well, kind of half cut by Brook. Doesn't really time it. Gets it back with a point. He will only get the single. Moves on to 9 off 34. Stokes is 19 off 25. England have slowed down. It's kind of understandable. Lost a couple of wickets. Still want a big enough score to be able to try and chase the game. They might, I suppose they could roll the dice and go, okay, we're going to bat tomorrow morning and try and get a 200 run lead and just hope that we get enough
Maybe
weather.
do it like that. Yeah, get to sort of,
because you've got
500 by lunch tomorrow.
You've got to think that maybe we'll get some time over Saturday and Sunday, and if we get a 200 run lead, then you know we've got a chance that we can pull it off. You can't. I suppose you can't say that we're definitely going to get rain on Saturday and Sunday. You've got to think that there might be a chance.
Well, plus if you get on in between the rain, it'll freshen up the wicket and so on.
Yeah, precisely. That another thing. That's played out to mid wicket. There's no run. And I imagine it'll make a big difference with overheads and bruised skies and all that.
Well, I thought they were going off for a second, but they're actually giving someone a new bat.
I presume it's Stokes. He's a GM man, isn't he? Someone's come out with 4 bats and they all have no red marks on their face. Wouldn't that be nice?
They all cost
so many bats.
800 quid probably.
Yeah, exactly. He's been given them.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Andy, it looks like they've updated their website and your picture's no longer there.
Are you sure you didn't imagine it?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I was gobsmacked when I saw it, and I was just like looking at it, going, "It's fucking Andy! What the hell?" I didn't see not Fred in the photograph. But
No, I don't think Fred was playing on that occasion. Alex Goldie, did you know him?
No.
Well, England's top 3 scorers are higher than Australia's top 3 scorers by a long. Well, not the third one, isn't it? 54 Moeen. That's driven or blocked, really, with good timing by Brook, but straight to mid off and there's no run.
Lorraine Chase was in the other half with John Standing, then lame ducks. Don't remember either of them. Does anyone? No.
Oh, Super Chat King. It's not Super Chat King. Super Chat Man.
It's GT Naked Fun. Grammar school boy calls Wimbledon posh.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I went to a grammar school. It wasn't a full grammar school, I'm going to confess to, as Cummins comes in, bowls, jumps a little bit this time on Brook, who controls it quite nicely down towards third man and should get back for 2 this time as it beats green. Head goes around to field it.
Piss off, Bear, says Jay. I've been to Sydenham. It makes Herne Hill look like South Central.
I mean, Sydenham High Street is not the greatest, it has to be said. But around and we have got a council estate as we look out the back window, but it's okay. It's not too bad. And the grammar school I went to was only 50% selective. At the time, it was more state school. But having said that, I did when the missus was having a pop, as that one is just defended into the offside, but square, and Brook will get himself another single. When the missus, before Nate was born, she put his name down for Eton and claimed that she was a professor as we applied for it. Which of course,
why not?
Registered her old address, which we since moved and never, blah blah blah.
But you could have afforded the fees.
Of course not. She just did it anyway. But I did weirdly one time. I think I phoned up my old school for some reason when she was getting really antsy about getting them into good schools and just off her thing. Because when I left school, there was the kind of the alumni thing, and like if you had kids and you probably lived in a Watford area, you could get your kids in.
You could get them in, yeah.
And I asked about that 30 years later. Like, oh God, no, we don't do that anymore. Stokes defends that one back past Cummins.
Not enough money in that.
Well, like me, you passed your 11 plus, yeah.
I did, yes.
Well, I must have done, but I don't even remember taking it.
Well, you automatically go to the grammar school, the local one, back in my day. you didn't not go to grammar school if you passed your 11 plus.
Well, there was only yeah.
You didn't go to secondary school with the people who didn't pass your 11 plus in my day. You went to the grammar school. That was it. No choice.
You kind of had a choice whether to apply or not. It was the only grammar school in the area. But as I said, it was only 50% selective. So I don't know if I got in because I passed 11 plus or because my brother was there, and I don't know how my brother managed to get in because he was thick as shit. If you're listening, sorry man, but you were. You only got 2 O levels. The important ones,
thick.
Maths and chemistry.
Oh well, there you go. He's not thick then.
Well, no, he's done all right for himself. Haven't said that. Anyway, Cummins round a wicket. Stokes trying to block it square, presumably to get that single. I guess no one's looking to take a crazy chance, are they? At the end of the day, they're going to come out tomorrow morning and blast it around.
Hombre Nuevo says, I saw a documentary about Terry Wogan, and I may be wrong here, but I believe that mic was a rush job by the prop department and was a car aerial with a mini mic taped to it.
Yes, it was, basically. I mean, that's exactly what it was. But it became a thing, didn't it? You know, because,
Jay says Andy's photos are like the last scene in The Shining.
Yeah, exactly.
Jay says, you have a council's estate outside the back window. Oh, be still my beating heart.
Yes, there is. There's council blocks. Nice.
Is the pig still in the garden?
The pig? Oh, no, I don't think it is, you know.
Oh, no.
No.
You should have got that off them if they were going to throw it out.
They might have moved it somewhere else. I can't see it. Marsh is in, down the leg side, and clipped nicely by Brook out towards, presumably, someone at deep mid wicket, indeed. And it's a single. Are you doing some tidying up, Tone? Wow, that's nice of you.
There's a bottle over there as well behind that.
Yeah, see? Take all that stuff.
Warren says, who hasn't slept in the pavilion on a bunch of kit bags? Well, it was outside the pavilion, Warren. That was the thing.
Must have been a balmy summer night.
Nothing down here. Yeah. I'm still drinking the beer, yeah.
And Jahan lives in Perth. You can go and call on
Messi.
Yeah.
He goes more out in the sticks, doesn't he, Messi? It's quite away from anyone. Defended by Stokes on the back foot, back towards the bowler, and there's no run.
He's surrounded by bandicoots and kangaroos.
Strange shit like that. He's got an acre, isn't he? Basically, his property's on an acre, I think. Big old rambling house. Are you still there, Messi? You can come in and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be a big rambling house. It's too big for him, but he's gonna stay there. And one day, we're praying that one day we actually do manage. A couple of years ago, as Marsh comes in, driven by Stokes, back past the bowler. I don't know if there's a deep long off. Is there? Yeah, there is. So it'll only be the one.
I'd like to go to Perth.
Well, a couple of years ago, we were determined that we were going to go out to do the Ashes in Australia because we couldn't stand sitting through the night again. We've since done 2 through the nights because we didn't do that one. That was the year of the Gaucho Club. But one day, I swear, we're just going to go and ensconce ourselves in Messi's house and do it from Perth. We've got to get enough people out there. Probably need 4 or 5 people to get out to Perth. We've got to make sure the internet connection's good. Nicely clipped by Brook out towards deep square leg. And there's a single.
Yeah, Brook finally looking a bit more fluent. I think probably get a couple of overs in after this one, and I think it's a bit of a holding pattern now. England will just pick up 10-15 more runs and decide what they want to do in the morning.
Yeah, it's got to be that way. If there is a morning. Apparently it's going to rain early tomorrow, isn't it? And then it should be alright in the afternoon.
Dave Wood says, I can't believe the Bear deprived the Cubs to chance to be the future Prime Minister.
Or Eton. There's only one, because only one's a boy. Clipped into the leg side by Stokes, rides it off his hip, down towards long leg, gets himself a single.
Well, I'm pretty sure girls go to Eton now, and indeed can become Prime Minister.
Well, they can become Prime Minister. No, Eton's an all-boys school.
It's not, is it?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
Yeah. What do you mean is it allowed?
Oh, so they can do whatever they fucking like, yeah.
They do whatever they fucking like.
They run the country. They
exactly.
Can
They've what, 10 Eton Prime Ministers?
Suck up your beer and collect your fags.
Yes, exactly. Brook in clipped nicely by Brook, but straight them out at mid wicket. We've hit the fielders a lot today, even though we've scored a lot of runs. 6 sevens or 42, so we're not going at 6 and over. We were going at 6 and over earlier. 5 sevens are 350, so we're going at
5.5.
5.5 roughly.
Mitch Marsh has only bowled 9 overs. He looks like he's bowled 29.
And he got a slap because that's probably the second last of the day, so that's his day done, probably.
He should get to. Oh, here comes the joke bowling.
Come on, smack this over
not
for 20.
Not even Smith.
It's not even Smith. You know who's going to bowl? It's going to be all you out there, this man.
He keeps floating on a light beam with an average that is obscene. His name is unpronounceable. The selectors have no trouble. It's not as lavishing. It's not as lavishing.
It's Marnus Labuschagne.
And Australia taking far too long to set this field. They clearly want this to be the last over.
I mean, it's terrible. 71 overs, and England bowled, what, 6 this morning?
It might have been 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
2 for the changeover, but yeah.
Yeah. It's appalling. Gary will be fucking spitting bricks somewhere in Tooting. Actually, he's probably on the way to a theatre right now, but you know. Come on, get on with it. Labuschagne is
cricket,
around.
finding an excuse not to play cricket.
Well, there you go. Exactly. Well, that's 2 minutes wasted because it's now 29 at 27 when he took the ball to bowl the last over. He's still fucking directing traffic. There's a slip. There is a short leg. It's Travis Head.
Oh, for God's sake. He's got to get his helmet.
Yeah, that's the sole reason he's there. He's got to get his helmet on, his pads on. Got to dress up like the Michelin Man.
Stokes are going to face up. He's on 21 or 32. Of course, if a wicket falls now, it will be the end of the day.
There's the guy that looks like an extra in Oppenheimer.
Ah, have you seen it? It's not.
No.
It's not actually out yet. It looks quite good.
Yeah, it's out tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, it is out tomorrow. Round a wicket, Labuschagne is in and should have run that really.
Yeah, easily.
Single down to long off, but it can't be asked. It's all an agreed last over. It was a horrible ball. It was short. It's out the back of the hand. He's a leggy. Labuschagne. If we get someone out in the morning, it'll be quite fun, won't it? Second ball of the over. Round a wicket again. This time Stokes goes back, crashes it. This time straight to cover. Must be getting annoyed.
Bowling from so wide round the wicket, his front foot's outside the sideline, which of course you're allowed to do.
Yeah, it's not the back foot you can't.
But he's angling it in and then turning it a bit more in that direction.
Bowling a lot of cross seam
into Ben Stokes.
That's fucking filthy.
Kept a bit low as well.
He did keep a bit low, but it's been pulled by Stokes. They're going to come back for 2. Good, nice easy 2. Yeah. It kept a bit low and he pulled it out to deep square leg. Fielder did get round, bit of a fumble there, and had to go a little bit, allowed them to get back for 2. Seemed to keep a little low, or that's by the shot that Stokes played. Another player sort of almost jammed his knee into the pitch. Who's that? Green again. Smashed straight up to long off. No, long off, not long off. It's halfway off, and it's no run. 2 balls to go in a day.
Nate as PM gives me the fear.
And Nate as PM should give everyone the fear. That's pulled by Stokes. He's going to walk a single down to long on.
It's amazing how these bowlers, Brook is another one, just seem to get away with going for 3 and over.
I know. They bowl pies. See, I can get away with fucking bowling in the IPL.
Yeah, not
I keep
the
telling
same. You might have more chance of bowling in a test match.
Well,
if you bowled like 2 overs before they realised how shit you were.
I bowled to a South African bowler once, ex-test South African batsman once at Wormsley when I was in my 40s, when the guy who runs the Taverners, can't remember his name now, used to invite me on to play. And basically, if I bowled flat darts, he ran at me on everything. If I bowled flat darts, I could get him to defend. As soon as I gave it any air, he was down the track and smashed me over my head for 6.
Yeah.
It's quite mad. That's floated up. Blocked by Brook on the front foot, out to cover, and there's no run, and that's it. That's it. Pardon me, the end of the day. I reckon 19 runs scored by the Australians. That's 403 runs scored in the day. England have faced 72 overs and got to 384 for 4. there is only one way England win this game. If the weather is as the weather, and Saturday and Sunday look like pretty much a write-off, somehow England had to conjure a victory by the end of tomorrow. And
now, suppose they lose a session tomorrow morning, do they then just put Australia in?
Well, no, I still think you need more. I think you've only got one chance of winning, and that is trying to bowl them out extraordinarily cheaply. You might, if you can chase 30 or 40, you might get a chance to pat again. Look, if the weather reports hold, there is very little time left in this game.
Which would be a shame. It would be a shame,
a massive shame,
for the series to. England could still draw.
Australia would kind of retain the Ashes on default because England is so
yeah, I mean,
far ahead in this game.
if Australia get a battering, I mean, Australia got a battering today, basically. Say it just rained for 3 days, and Australia retained the Ashes, you'd feel a bit sheepish spraying champagne everywhere.
Yeah, you would do a bit.
Or if you weren't Australian, you would.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. If this match ends up from here, if it doesn't end up as a win for England, and it goes to the Oval and England won, that's what I was saying earlier. It'd be a moral victory for England, but it'll be retained Ashes for Australia. And as I've always said, I don't think who retains a fucking little trophy doesn't bother me as long as we don't lose.
Yeah, I think
I'd
that
rather win, obviously.
Still should count for a lot. There was a funny moment just as Australia walked off there. They wanted someone to lead them off, and they all realised that Starc was already off, and everybody else had done bugger all. So they couldn't think of anyone to do it. So Cummins just kind of stomped off. But yeah, England's best batting day of the series, best batting day against Australia for many years, I would say.
Yeah.
Many years. Been fantastic. Crawley, amazing, 189. Yeah, he rode his luck a little bit, but he made it pay. He wasn't content with just 100. Put up a daddy 100. Root was unlucky to get one kept low. Even
he got an
Moen, 54 from Moen at 3 was a bonus.
Massive bonus. Well, it was also important because he got the ball to sort of 27 overs old by the time he was out.
Yeah.
He scored reasonably quickly as well. So, and that's the whole point of number 3, isn't it? I mean, you may not get a ton every time, but if you get, if 1, 2, and 3 wear out the bowlers a little bit, get them into their second spells, and the ball is 20, 30 overs old, suddenly it makes it a lot easier for everyone down the order.
Got to score runs as well. I mean, that was England's theory when they were winning one game out of 17, and they were sending Sibley out and patting him on the back when he faced 100 balls. You can't take that too far.
Yes, well.
But anyway, England lead by 67. It is a shame that the weather is going to play a bit of a part in the rest of this match, but they couldn't have done any more today.
No, they couldn't. Have we got any last tweets, Nestlers?
Well, I'll read you the last one out from Mayank, which is an offer. It says, I'm willing to make a sacrifice for you all and go to the Ashes in Australia, all 5 tests at all 5 grounds. I can commentate from the ground via my phone. It'll be tough in that summer heat and the loud atmosphere, but it's a risk I'm willing to take for you all.
Oh,
are you really prepared to do that with a whole bunch of bogans sitting around you listening to you commentate?
Exactly.
One person doing it all day.
Yeah. Good luck with
that. Good luck.
Indeed. And on that note, thank you to all our Super Chat people.
Super Chat pen.
Super Chat game. It's been you've been all fantastic. You've raised a lot of money today, and I'm glad that people are doing that, and that's very good. You can also patron us at patreon.com/GorillaCricket. You get lots of extra content. You get newsletters, you get extra podcasts, you get access to the archive, you get your name on a screen depending on where you're playing, you get a coffee mug if you do it for enough. What more can you fucking want? Jesus Christ. And if you don't even want any of those things, go and buy some bloody Ponting's wine.
Yeah.
You get 15% off. We're doing a deal with Ponting's wine. You can go to our website and click through from there on the homepage, or you can go to pontingwines.com.au/GorillaCricket. Ashes 2023, GC Ashes 2023 will get you 15% off more than 3 bottles of wine. I think if you buy yourself a box, you get 15% off. All genius. Lots of ways that you can help us out, help yourself, have a good time. It's all very well. So we're going to say good night. So it's good night from Andy.
Yep, good night for now.
Thank you. Jayhan's just come in. Final chat, guys. Have you finally got Oz by the short and curlies? I really hope so, Jan. Can Oz come back from this at all? Well, the problem is the fucking rain in this test. What an innings from Crawley. Indeed. Thank you very much, Jayhan. You have been a star today. You are Super Chat King. For day 2, Super Chat King for day 2 of the Ashes of the 4 test at Old Trafford. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll be on air 11. Well, we won't be on air if there's no play to start with. because otherwise you just end up watching dice cricket whilst we sit in the other room, and I don't think that's any point in that, really. You'd rather wait for the actual game to start, and we'll get on air then. But until tomorrow, thank you very much. Thanks to you, Nestor. Say goodbye to everybody.
See you, everyone. Thank you.
And I'm hoping you're going to make your bloody way in here at some point, Nestors.
Oh, well,
I know it's a long way, but it's good fun. We had 6 people in here today. It was like the old days. Come on.
Wait, is there anything after this 5th Ashes test? Is that it?
No. Well, there's a World Cup, but that's not coming up until October. There'll be a load of one-day internationals that we're warming up with. But
what time of the day is that?
Well, hopefully now that GC Australia White Line Wireless / White Line Wireless we'll hopefully do earlier games in India, and we'll do the games that start at, I think they're going to start at 8:30 or 9:30 in the morning, depending on when the clocks go back.
Right.
So, and it's obviously about 6, 7, 8 weeks on the trot, games every day pretty much. So we might miss the odd game because it might be quite difficult to get crews, but we'll try as much as we can.
I'll have a look at the 5th test. I haven't replied to Tony yet, but I'll see if I can nick come in during the week.
Cool. Good. Sorry about that. That's green room chat for all those people out there. But I'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another